SOSCAST, baby.
Look at you. You made the two-shot, girl. Look at you. How you doing?
How you doing?
All right. Welcome to the SOSCAST, the sexiest financial podcast in the world. This is where finance meets romance. And like we say every single show, our one goal, our one objective, our sole purpose is to help you guys out there get paid, laid, and do it your way. So what we do is we bring in a panel of experts. Some are in the pay game. Some are in the lay game. They're all in the doing it your own way game. So they all have amazing stories. And we're excited to share that with you guys today. We're making some magic happen here. We're having some internet besties going on this side of the room, over on that side of the room. We're switching things around. We're making things accommodating. Clarissas got her killer crossover. We got a pimp-ass dude sitting right in the middle. We got some financial experts in the corner that you're all going to meet in a second. Here's some of the topics we're going to address today. Everyone's ready and everyone's to discuss some of today's topics. One of the major things that I talk about here, obviously dating, relationships, money, but at the crux of that is the importance of networking and who you roll with. And I think that we're going to start with that today.
I like that.
And that'll be a good conversation. We'll have some money conversation. 65% of Americans are doing the exact opposite of what they're supposed to be doing when it comes with their money. As you know, we'll have some hilarious stories about the brokest you've ever been, or financial stories like that. Relationship expert says guys on low salaries shouldn't even bother dating. We'll ask the ladies what they think about that. Crazy story about an NBA superstar that basically almost had a stroke when he found out that his famous girlfriend was spending all this money on his credit card. Financial psychologist talks about money trends or money things that are good for relationships, and then also the 5 red flags when it comes to financial red flags of dating. Splitting bills with women at the club. I know that you ladies are always taking care of the bill at the club. The guys drink free. I know how it works. Marriage, we'll have that discussion. JWALLER, you have a major fan on the internet that's been crushing over you recently. If we can talk about that. And then if we have time, what American women can maybe learn from Eastern women. And then women who married for money reveal why it's way messier than you ever even imagined. So, with that being said, let's meet today's panel. Thank you for being here. Nat, before we get started, we meet all the lovely, sexy, wealthy, accomplished individuals, including myself.
Yes.
Why don't you introduce yourself? We all know who you are.
Yes.
When I found this girl, I say it every single time, she was homeless, shoeless, penniless, couldn't read, and now look at her. She's glowing, hooked on phonics work for her.
Yes.
She's doing her thing. Her feet pics are selling out on OnlyFans.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
She's got about 3 toes left because I'm selling them things.
Yes.
Nat, we all know you, we love you. Even the people that put L in the comments, you know that it's for love, not
yes.
L. So go ahead, say hi and let's meet our panel after that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for tuning in today for our SOSCAST episode. I'm super excited for this episode. I actually got to bring on some of my favorite influencers on, so I'm really excited to hear some insight from them, give you guys some advice and kind of their story. And I know today we do have a sponsor read, but before I do that, I first want to give a shout out to one of our subscribers who sent us this big package. They sent us a package, a whole bunch of personal goods. This is from Jessica Shive. Thank you so much. We'll put your business in the description down below if you guys want to check out some of her products. It's for your skin, all coconut based. We appreciate you and thank you for subscribing. And I think that's a perfect segue to tell you guys, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, do all that fun stuff. We're almost at 200,000. So, subscribe to the family and thank you guys for being a part of the journey. Let's get the party started.
Way to go, Nat.
Yeah.
Here we go. So speaking of some of your favorite influencers, I sat them right between me and Justin just because we wanted to give them the royal treatment. Apparently, Nat's been following you two for years. She's a huge fan. She was super excited to bring you on. And then lo and behold, I asked your guys' story, how long you've been friends, you wanted to sit next to each other. Apparently you guys have never met, but you've been following, so we made this
happen. Yeah.
Bromance, but for ladies happen.
Yes.
Do one heart for each hand, each other. Grab that picture, guys. Look into the camera. Can we get that? Okay, done.
So cute.
So Mel, Amber, tell us your story. So here's what we're gonna do. Tell us how you make your money and your relationship status. Everyone's going to do this. So finance meets romance kind of makes sense. So go ahead.
So I've been in the fitness industry for 9 to 10 years. I built my platform off of it. I have my own app on the App Store called Fit Esteem, which is fitness meets mindset. So I did that for a while. I've transformed about, 2,000 different individuals, so it's very life-changing for me. It connected also the mental aspect. And then as of recent, as an entrepreneur, I finally took on OnlyFans, and it is my preference, and it's a business at the same time. So I'm very proud of all the decisions, all aligning each other. And for the most part, everything has been incredible. Social media, people have this idea of it, but it's a platform where you can use and utilize and to build business and change lives, and at the same time build your business. And I've met this beautiful, lovely young lady finally today, but we've been friends and connected. We're both entrepreneurs, same like-minded mindsets when it comes to business, good energy, good people doing the right thing. So that's how we connected. And look, the universe has brought us
and
here in person.
Relationship status?
NA.
NA, not applicable?
Not applicable.
So you're not dating anyone?
Eh.
Do you have internet boyfriends?
Eh.
Well, if you're on OnlyFans, you must have something going on in that category.
There's a lot going on in that
A
category.
lot going on, okay.
So we'll leave that open.
We'll come back to that in a second. Okay, Amber Quinn.
Yes.
Is that your real name?
Yes.
What a name. Isn't
I
that
know.
I love that name.
What?
Isn't that the girl from the movies?
Harley Quinn?
Amber Quinn, how are you?
Go.
What's your story? What do you do? What do you do for work? What do you do for money other than your husband?
Wow, I wish I had a husband that
I see a big
me.
rock on your finger.
So yeah, I'm engaged,
Well,
not
okay.
married, but
So you do have a husband.
Yeah,
That's
well,
up and coming.
up and coming.
Okay, congrats.
But I'm a content creator, and I actually am in the network marketing space.
Okay.
So, and I'm also on OnlyFans. That's honestly my #1 income at the moment. I've been working on social media for, gosh, I think it's been like 8 years. So content creation and teaching other people how to use social media to help them make an income online.
Got it. And relationship status, you said you're engaged?
Yes.
Okay, when did that happen?
Recently,
How recent?
like a month ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How long you guys been together?
It was a rocky road, so on and off for like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So many conversations, so many questions, but let's do the intro. Justin Waller, hard to catch, never home.
Very true.
Making America, building America. Honored to see you, brother. You're all over the world. You're making such a name for yourself. Every 6 months or 3 months that I see you, it's just like you're on another level, dude. What's new with you?
More real estate, more buildings, more podcasts, traveling. Just got back from Montreal, did a War Room event, spoke at that a couple days ago. Shot over here. You asked me. I had 4 podcasts lined up, so we moved them all around and got it done. Now we're
Honored, bro.
here. Yeah, glad to be here, man.
Nice, dude.
Very
So where
glad
you
to
been
be here.
traveling? Like,
Oh God, this year I've probably been in 10 countries, maybe. I don't know. We did a big podcast tour. We went Miami, London, Spain, Dubai, LA, back to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, we've picked up over 100 doors in the real estate business. Obviously, we got well over 200 men working in the construction, hanging steel everywhere. So been real busy. Glad to be here. It's
Thank
been
you,
too
bro.
long, man. So
Yeah, of course,
always
bro.
happy to be here, bro.
always happy to
Always.
have you. You made a quick pit stop in Romania at some
Yeah,
point.
did a little
Yeah.
jail time with my boy. You know?
We both did, bro.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
on lockdown in that house, in that
That's
compound.
it, man. And you know what's interesting about that? It wasn't until the last day that I realized I never left the gates.
Yeah.
You know, I might have a girlfriend or two in Bucharest. Nope. Staying with my boys. So we stayed together the whole time, ate together, trained together.
Yeah.
You know, just spent a whole solid week together, man. I really enjoyed it.
Where'd
of
you stay, in
course.
the back house, or where were you in that?
Yeah,
in the
so
compound?
normally I stay in the same room, but they brought a videographer in, so I did stay in the back house this time. It's the first time I ever stayed
where
in the
that
back
gym
house.
is.
Yeah, where the gym
Yeah,
is.
of course.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Tristan gave me the whole tour, did the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
Sick. I was gonna say that compound is ridiculous. It's not bad. If I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be on house arrest in Romania,
it's not a bad time, dude. You know
stay
what?
at the Tate compound. It's not bad.
It's not a bad time, but I always say it's about who's in the boat, not the boat. So
Yeah.
we could have stayed in a mobile home park, and I'd have felt right at home.
No
So,
doubt.
Yeah.
Well, look forward to staying with you at our next mobile home tour. We'll do our thing.
Let's do it,
across
man.
America.
I'm ready.
Awesome,
ready.
dude. Karen's in the house.
Yep.
Karen Estevez, I believe.
Yes.
she said you watches the show,
I do.
and somehow you're on the show.
It's a blessing.
It's amazing what being a attractive young woman will do for your career, guys. It's great.
Yeah.
Meet a lot of dudes that watch the show. I never invite them. Karen, there she is.
Boom. Yep.
What's your story?
Well, I am 18 years old. I'm a full-time student, and I do drop shipping. And from that funding from drop shipping, I got into day trading.
Day trading?
Mm-hmm.
What do you trade?
Well, I do specifically health and medical, so that's more my niche. I want to be a dental surgeon, so.
Dental shirt. Well, if you come to the right department to talk to Jose and Will, if you want to do some day trading, they'll point you in the right or wrong direction.
I'd love that.
Or correct what you're doing. One of the things I always say is I don't do day trading. I do decade trading. And, you know, I don't make moves day to day when it comes to
Well, of course, you got to
asset
do
allocation.
long-term investments and short-term as well.
There she is, my 18-year-old little friend correcting me. Thank you. Respect to you. And boyfriend, anything?
No, single.
Stay single, girl. 18. They're going to come at you.
Facts.
Like, these girls know. Okay. Well, respect. Thank you for being here. Jose Hernandez is in the house. Dude, you're a lot bigger than I thought you'd be.
Thank you.
You were a baseball player at one point.
I was,
a catcher,
yeah.
I want to say.
Catcher.
Nice. And you do a big money show, Instagram, social media. I've been seeing your thing for years. Give us your story.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah,
Of course,
so
bro.
primarily on Instagram. I'm a financial educator, consultant. Long story short, a big part of my story is, I'm an immigrant to the United States from Venezuela and grew up very poor. And baseball was the thing that gave me the opportunity to be the first person in my family to study finance. And after school, I had the opportunity to get into the financial industry and work as a financial advisor in the wealth management industry, and learned a lot of really great information about investing, financial planning, stuff that wasn't talked about in my house growing up, obviously being very poor. And after a couple years of doing that, I got the inspiration, I guess you can call it, to start sharing the things I was learning hands-on in the wealth management industry. And for those of you that don't know, the Wall Street world has some really strict laws around what financial advisors can and cannot do. And I had a very aggressive sit down with the compliance department after I put out my first Instagram post, and pretty much gave me an ultimatum. They said, Jose, you can be a very successful advisor at this firm or leave and do your own thing. And I saw a lot of opportunity on social media. I knew that if I worked really hard,
What firm were you at the time?
I was with Bank of America Merrill Lynch.
And they said, no, you can't be doing any posting. You know what's crazy? And we'll get into relationships in a second. The whole reason that I'm even freaking relevant, because I started doing only money content, and now I do finance and romance, because I entered the financial industry. I'm giving you kudos right now. I'm giving you some flowers, because everything you're saying is absolutely right, and I'll tell you why. I started going to all these financial conferences, right, as a networker. My job was to network. And I went from when 25, being like the brokest of my friends, doing stand-up comedy, club promoter in Miami, getting paid in drink tickets, laughs, and chicks, broke as fuck. By the time I quit that job, moved up here to Boca, that's what you're saying in Boca, got a job as a cold caller, boom, 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 10 years later, millionaire, making in the financial world, great. And then I say, all right, what's next? And then I'm like, all right, I want to start doing some money content. And I ask I work with literally thousands of financial advisors. Like how you work with construction, realtors, that's your world. My world is financial guys. And I go, why aren't you guys doing stuff online to educate the millennials? And what would they say? Well, my broker-dealer wouldn't allow this. I'm a career agent, it wouldn't allow it. My OSJ, all these fucking acronyms. I'm like, dude, these people need help. Start doing some shit. So, dude, I'm not like, you guys are, that's your world. I'm like a dude who made some money kind of in your world. And it was just a blue ocean strategy, complete opening, because they completely dropped the ball and wouldn't let people basically say, go online and be like, hey, be smart with your money and invest in a 401k. Frowned upon. Everything you're saying is absolutely correct. So anyway, kudos to you. Anyway, how you doing? You married? What's your deal?
I'm married.
Okay. Kids, wife, relationship?
No kids.
Okay.
Been together for a while. Been together since high school. She's been ride or die.
High school?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 29.
Holy shit. Well, congrats. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I couldn't make up a better segue because bring this mic closer to you if you don't mind. This is Miss Clarissa Martinez. Her husband's watching. Okay. Can we bring this mic closer to her on this side? Deli, help us out here because it's too far. It's almost in Princella's face. Yep, you guys got this thing. Okay. Look at that hero right there.
There we go.
Thank you.
Real American heroes. JWALLER's just getting a reason to stand up to show that fucking that ass, those legs is built like a horse, a stallion.
I think we've covered that on this
Yes,
show.
of course. Well, I mean, we talk facts around here, JWALLER.
Yeah, we do.
Respect. Okay. Gentlemen, stung up. You talked about been together since high school, okay? This lady right here, it's an honor to have her on. She's married to the sales manager here at Valuetainment for PBD Consulting, okay? Leo Martinez, if you've seen him before, sick beard, he's the man. They've been together since, I think you guys just had your 20-year anniversary.
Yeah.
20-year anniversary?
Congrats.
Dude, I'm dating 20-year-olds. You're having fucking 20-year anniversaries. 21 for the record. Everyone's of age when they come to the club, I swear to God. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I always like having your perspective because you have 3 kids.
3 kids.
I almost said 4. 3 kids. Leo would have been like, what, a 4th? What's going on here?
I'm in trouble.
So give us your story.
Clarissa Martinez, like Adam said, I'm married to Leo Martinez. We've been married 20 years, together 23 years. I married my very first boyfriend, high school sweetheart, and we're doing life and business and everything together.
So cool.
Yeah.
And now you got, here's the weirdest part. You got your oldest son, Alex, who's 16?
Yep.
Interning at Valuetainment.
He is. We're a whole crew.
It's crazy. These
It
Martinezes
is.
are taking over, and they were together since high school. Anyway, I'll let the Hernandezes and the Martinezes figure their thing out over here. Respect. Princella's back. You were on what, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
And she's just dropping dimes, dropping dimes, dropping dimes, dropping dimes. You had a baseball cap,
Yes.
doing your thing. Okay, and you're in town for, I think, a big social media event.
Yes, it was a podcast event out here. It was a podcast conference.
Nice. I
Yes.
think Earn Your Leisure was there.
Yes.
I like those guys a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. So give us your story.
Well, I'm Princella, the Queen Maker, and I am an author of a book called 41 Shades of Men. I'm an expert male psychologist, and I teach women to shift the power dynamics in their relationships. And so I have a large following that spans across the globe. So I'm international and growing. Yes.
Internationally growing.
Yes.
Internationally known on the microphone. Thank you for being on that mic.
Thank you.
And relationship status. This is a whole can of worms, girl. Go ahead. You just give it to him now.
Yes, yes.
Malik, by the way, you can talk to Nat. You guys can figure out that one
I
clip
got
that
it
I want to
already.
do. Okay, cool.
Yes, well, I am dating.
Nice.
But after you write a book like I've written, and
Yes.
you know what I know, you just tend to stop playing the game and just take the easy way. And I just date women now.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's a lady she was playing in one sandbox her whole life. Her whole life. And all of a sudden she's like, I'm in the wrong sandbox. And now she's over there with the box.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, what? I mean, we're PG-13 over here. A respect to you. Well, you know, me, you, Justin, Jose, Will, we all on the same team.
We all on the same team.
Okay, we're looking for the same thing. The sandbox. Guste's here.
Hello.
Model, controversial,
I
you
wouldn't
know.
say controversial, maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little
Maybe
bit,
a little bit.
but not scared to say your opinions.
Oh, never.
And that's why we like having you here. Give us
Love
your
it.
story. What you doing for work, relationship.
I work as an executive assistant for the CIO and VP of a company, and then I also do modeling at Select Model Management in Miami, and I am in a relationship.
Congratulations.
Thank
How
you.
long has that been now?
I think like 5-6 months. It's fresh.
Uh-oh. Fresh. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. And Will's here. Will, the Money Man Myers, he's back.
Yay.
But he was on a panel, when was that, 6 months ago?
Yeah, around 6 months.
By the end of the panel, this guy from Texas, you know, hey, I got my boots and hey, this is what you got. By the end of the panel, every girl's like, so what's Will's deal? I'm like, he's married, ladies. Hands off. He's mine. Right, Princella?
All right.
So give us your story.
So I've been in finance for a while, a little bit like your story. I went a different direction. Instead of doing like the S&P 500 index forever, I bought assets. I'm interested in talking to you about real estate. I love that. Is my mic, we're good?
Yeah, you're good.
So I started buying assets. That's primarily where my income comes from real estate properties I bought. I bought my first house at 20, my first fix and flip at 24, and then I'm currently evaluating a tax practice in Massachusetts with Tyler McBroom. You had him?
Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, he's
CPA to the stars.
Yeah.
I like Tyler.
So just buying equity in businesses that pay cash flow.
Yeah.
And then I also started growing on social media, teaching people what I do, how anybody can get started. You can start with a $70 vending machine, learn the game. You can do it with your kids. Why can't your kid help you go to Costco and stock a vending machine and then take those principles to Airbnb and scale up? So and then I started going live on TikTok. I've got a really big show on TikTok Live of all places. Me and the Chinese just hanging out all the time.
Hey, shout out to ByteDance. Don't take the channel down. Thanks, guys.
That's right. And we've got a big following. I did a $1 million in 6 months on TikTok Live.
Wow. Yeah, you're good. Malik, okay. Don't be alarmed, bro. Back guy coming up behind you, you might have been shook, but we're good. Just Malik, we're good. Okay. No, that guy's harmless right there. Now, if Nat came from behind,
watch out, watch out.
Figure that out. And married, kids, right?
Yeah, married, been married for a long time, and I've got 2 beautiful kids, a 9-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter.
How long's a long time?
Let's see, 2011, so whatever,
Wow.
March 2011.
Bro, Martinez family's running laps around you, dog. Okay.
Taking notes.
Yeah. Respect to you. Well, you know, it's funny. Let me give a quick shout out to our sponsor real quick. Talk about buying assets, S&P 500, homes, real estate. You know, I'm talking to Robert Kiyosaki. I've interviewed him a few times. You've done stuff with Kiyosaki before, right? Legend, obviously. We've done events with him here at the Vault. We've done some interviews with him. And, you know, my whole catchphrase is save that money, save that money. And usually, you know, you understand the power of saving because when you save, you can invest. And the one guy that I would not say save that money, I'm like, all right, Robert, tell the kids at home they need to save that money. He's like, do not save that money. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, take out debt and buy commodities and buy Bitcoin and buy gold and buy silver. I'm like, cool, but also save that money. He's like, no. And he takes a Zimbabwe dollar and he rips it up. I'm like, all right, buddy. And I'm like, this guy's so passionate about this. So I was like, Robert, like low key, this is off camera. I'm like, what's it? Why won't you say? He's like, look, I get it. People want to save, but you really got to look into precious metals as well as Bitcoin. I was like, all right, cool. And every time Michael Saylor's on the podcast, if you guys know Michael Saylor, literally billionaire, anytime he's on, every time I have a conversation with him, I buy more Bitcoin.
Me too.
Oh, Mike, yeah, you too?
He'll literally sell everything just to buy more Bitcoin.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So when I talk to Kiyosaki, I actually buy more gold. And I've never been a gold guy because it's interesting. So shout out to, basically, this is where I'm going with this. Our sponsor is American Hartford Gold. And I'm basically edifying what Robert Kiyosaki is saying because I wasn't a gold guy forever. Patrick Bet-David brought me a thing of gold. He says, here's this. It's like ounce of gold is just weighing you down over there. So I'm all about saving, but save to invest, right? Okay? And all about diversification. We understand that. You said I'm not an S&P guy, I'm more of a real estate guy. I like to basically keep my asset allocation, which we can have a conversation about right here. But I've added gold to basically the portfolio in addition to Bitcoin and stuff like that. So American Hartford Gold will actually ship physical gold directly to your door, gold and silver, or they can set you up with a gold IRA. I know a lot of people, older people, are into that kind of stuff. So they've earned a 5-star rating from thousands of reviews, but even more importantly, an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Anytime you're getting A+ from the BBB, you're doing all right. So there's a deal for all you value-tainers out there. They'll give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. You can click the link in the description. Nat, I believe we have that below.
Yes.
Or you can call old school style 866-443-6361, 866-443-6361, or you can text. Ready for this? Text SOS, S-O-S, to 65532. So SOS to 65532, and that's American Hartford Gold. And thank you guys for accommodating our sponsor read today. Go check them out over there. So here's where I would like to start today, okay? The power of networking. So I'm on Nat, do we have that poll
Yes.
where I'm sitting on that plane?
Yeah, give me
Okay. So we'll pull that up in a sec. So I'm not the smartest guy, okay? I'm not the richest guy, okay? I'm not a male model like some guys on this panel, but I consider myself one hell of a networker, okay?
Yes.
Why? More than anything is because I actually want to hear what people have to say. Like the problem that I think people do with marketing or networking is like, all right, I'm going to network. How am I going to go get clients? How am I going to do this? I go out and I'm like, let's go talk to people. Let's go see what people are doing. Like, let's see what people are up to. Let's see what you're doing. All right, and then when I find out what you're doing, I'll be like, oh, that's cool, bro, because I do this. Oh, that's cool, bro. I don't know shit about oil rigs, but good luck out there. Stay safe, homie. Whatever it is. You actually have a genuine interest in people. So, you know, I made the mistake of thinking that everyone is a good networker. Everyone can just get out there and network, and everyone are out there. So this is sort of a humble brag right now. So I'm sitting on my buddy's private plane the other day on the way to Aspen because I networked the fuck out of my life, and he's one of my best friends. He's a super successful guy. He knows who he is. And we're actually at a funeral. And I show up to the funeral. Why? Because I genuinely wanted to go show respects to a friend's family member. I spent all day there just because, like, it was a funeral. And like in the Jewish community, we had to do something called sitting Shiva, where you just spend all day pouring love and affection to the family and making them feel good. By the end of the day, we're having a great time. My buddy's like, what are you up to this weekend? I'm like, nothing, dude. Like, I just need to chill this weekend. He's like, come with me on my jet to Aspen. And I'm like, yeah, man, let me check. He's like, come to the fucking jet. I'm like, all right, cool, we're going to Aspen. So I'm on the jet and I do a video. And I'm like, hey, here's the types of friends you need in your life. Here's the story. So I'm like, every guy, and I think you can appreciate this because I want to get your thoughts on this. Well, I go, every guy needs friends. We all understand that, okay? And there's stories, polls out there that men have less friends than ever. That's due to COVID. That's due to not getting off your fucking phone and your face all day. Man needs friends. But more than friends, a man needs good friends. Cool. I understand you need some good friends, guys in your network you can trust. But more than that, better to have rich, good friends. Because that's like good friends, but there's like rich, good friends. But above that is to have rich, good friends who are actually what we call in the Jewish community, mensches. You ever heard that term, mensch? Mensch is just like the most honorable, good, man of character type of guy out there. Because you can have rich friends who are total dirtbags, right? Shout out to you guys out there. I see you in the clubs in Miami. I know you guys. Love you guys. But it's way better to have men who are honorable and amazing like that. I'm so lucky that I have those types of guys in my life. And last point here, my mom would always tell me, in order to be a friend, in order to have friends, you need to be a friend. I'm like, thanks, Mom. So I've always considered friends, especially male friends, of the utmost importance. What's the point of this story? Nat, show this poll, okay? If we can. So punch in a little bit and see the top. So I said, okay, message for the fellas, that's what I said. Now punch in on the results. Okay, I said, fellas, how's your network? Like your network of friends, the people you roll with. 1/3 basically, 36% said, I roll with bosses, okay? And 2/3, 64%, said, I need a better circle of friends around me. That was shocking, okay? Because usually people will, they don't have to tell the truth on these types of polls. I was expecting the exact opposite. So what's my point? Meaning a lot of people that watch the show are basically saying, cool, bro, financial advice, great, dating advice, great. I'm really struggling to hang out with people who can better my life. And that was such a big thing. I was like, holy shit, let's talk about this. And here we got guys, girls who are actually doing really well in life, have made major influence in their life, roll with bosses, made it to this show, SOSCAST, subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And I really wanted to start the conversation off with this. And I would say 80-90% of our audience are men, so I want to kind of galvanize those guys. So, dude, you roll with bosses on bosses and bosses. You're part of Tate's crew, part of the real world, the war room, everything that you're doing. I see the empowering stories that you do. Even when I interviewed Tristan in Romania, I gave you a shout out because I was like, some kid paid his mom's rent because of what you taught them or the war room taught them. It was amazing. So networking, brotherhood, rolling with bosses. What have you learned, and what can you help the young men out there accomplish?
Well, actually, when I was looking at those numbers, the first thing I thought about was it's okay for that amount of guys not to be rolling with bosses depending on what age they are. Because one thing that you have to do before you're able to network at a high level is become that guy also.
Yep.
So there's, let's say, a decade of work that's going to be involved in getting your fitness right, your money right, your ability to look a man in the eye and talk to him with conviction, all these things that need to happen before you shake Tristan Tate's hand. Otherwise, you're just a guy that he's going to meet and forget about, right? So I always say that ethics happen before you need them. And what I mean by that is you should be taking care of everything in your life before you meet that individual. Because if you don't, you'll never be able to put an impact on that person. So in regards to networking itself, I completely agree with you. I don't ever go into a relationship or into a situation where I'm speaking to someone and I'm trying to think about what I can get from them. One of the best things that I think that you can do is genuinely be there and sit with that person. I'll tell you a really good story that I've never told before. Me and Tristan and Andrew and Sartorial were on a yacht in Dubai, and they brought some billionaires on the boat. And I never thought to myself, how can I get to make money with this guy? I thought, just be with him and treat him like a normal person. 3 drinks in, me, Tristan, and this Australian billionaire are singing "Devil Went Down to Georgia," slapping on a
There it is.
Yeah, and it's like, what people forget when they're networking is that these are real people, man.
100%.
And if you can just be with them and let them be a normal person and not movie star them, there's a lot of walls that will drop, because you have to remember a very successful person is used to getting 300 Instagram messages a day.
Yep.
Or getting stopped in public. Like I went to Target this morning, this guy stopped me. He stopped me for like 20 minutes, man. I just wanted to get some creatine.
By the way, you should be on Manect. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
You'll make a ton of money, bro.
And
gotcha.
And
so should you guys.
And I think that people forget that rich people are most often just people that work really, really, really hard, and they'd really appreciate it if you treated them like a normal person. And it's not the first time you meet them, it's the second or the third time where you've gained their trust enough for maybe there to be a conversation. I think sometimes people rush it, they think it's their only shot. But if you're doing the work you're supposed to do to impress them when you meet them, and then you treat them like a normal human, you'd be surprised at how far that would go.
Are you still in touch with the Australian billionaire?
Yeah, bro. Anytime
See
I
how
want
that works out?
Yeah.
But I think what is amazing about what you're saying, Justin, is you didn't start the conversation of anything about money. You just got to know the person.
Right.
You got to know the person.
Right.
Listen, if he likes you and you like him, those money conversations, I guarantee you, gentlemen out there, will come at the end of the night, day 2,
exactly,
day 3. But so many young guys make the mistakes of, oh, you're a billionaire, so hey man, I'm looking for a job, or hey, what's the secret to success? Hey, I'm looking for an investor. It's like, homie, I met you 15 minutes ago. Relax.
Exactly. So, and let's flip it into another category. Let's say you're at dinner with a beautiful woman. Treat her like a human, treat her like a person.
Yep.
Laugh with her.
Yep.
Be like, hey, if we fall in love, are we gonna run errands to Target together? Like that kind of thing, instead of straight trying to get to the sex, or straight trying to pump her full of fucking drinks. Like, people are people, and if you treat them that way, and they will, especially if they're high level, if she's super beautiful or he's super rich, they'll feel the fact that you're treating them like a human, and it goes so far with people.
I see you two nodding when he's saying that, treat the women, listen to them. You got churchgoers Amber, what was it about what he said specific? I mean, even the networking stuff with gentlemen, but even treating women the way that he described, that resonated with you.
So I agree, because I have people that meet me in person. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were going to be so nice. I would have never expected this. You're so humble. I'm like, why wouldn't you expect this, Well, they idolize me on social media, or they think they hold me to this different standard. I'm like, I'm just a normal person. I'm really nice. And people are always surprised about that. And, networking is such a big thing in life. You never know who you're surrounded by. So I'll tell a little story. I was flying back from Turkey, and I tried to put myself in first class just because I manifest what I want. And also I surround myself around people that are doing better, hopefully, than me. So I'm flying back. We end up having a landing randomly in Barcelona. So we're stuck on the plane, and now everyone's talking. Well, there's a guy, older guy behind me, probably like 75. And he's like, yeah, I got my ticket for like $1,800. And I'm like, sir, how did you get your ticket for $1,800? And then the guy next to him, he's like, yeah, tell me, because I paid $7,000. I'm like, yeah, that's what I paid. So we all end up kind of becoming like a little family during our layover. We make connections, and this guy that I would have never expected, never talked about business, what I did, what he did, anything like that. He's like a billionaire. And the most humble person. He actually just let me do my engagement shoot at his house.
Wow.
And I'm like, you just never know who you're next to. Just be nice, be kind, and like he said, treat the person like a person.
Yeah. Rachel, what do you want to add to that?
No.
Or my fellow church go over here.
No, it's very true what he said. Like, and everything is energy, right? So how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think, like, even if you're going on a date, respect is key. You know, that's the way you treat someone is a representation of who you are, right? So I think that's really important that you show up that way. You are a gentleman. You don't go right for the drinks, or you don't make that person feel uncomfortable, because that's a representation of how you're treating them, right? And a reflection back. So I agree entirely, even with what Amber said, what he said, you know, and they say, like, you know, obviously your network is your network is your net worth. And it's so true. Just from even, you know, having conversations with Amber and us building and doing different things, we're going to do potential other businesses together, right? And I know that just from energy and the way the universe works. And even sitting here, you know, everything is divine timing. So I'm a big believer on what both of them said. So definitely treat people right, do the right thing, and just...
Let me ask a question to the ladies, and then I'll come back to the gentlemen. I think what Justin said was so powerful about, look, you know, you don't start a business relationship within the first 15 minutes or hour, or even first day, going right for the sale, okay? You don't be like, hey, you got money? All right, cool, let's do something. And he used the metaphor like you wouldn't do the exact same thing with a woman. If it's a first date with a woman, you know, in the first 15 minutes of the date, it's like, yeah, you know, I'm just buying you this food so I can sleep with you at the end of the night, right? So like, so can we hurry up and get the apps already? It's like, no. It's, you generally listen to them, you get to know them, you establish a connection, and if there's a vibe, believe me, gentlemen, by the end of the night, you'll know if there's dessert coming or not. I guarantee you, for sure, of course. So, ladies, what mistakes do you see, open-ended, not you, Clarissa, because you're married, or what mistakes do you see men doing on dates, like being too aggressive, too quick, not, you know, actually getting to know you, you know, and letting the sale come to itself, trying to make the sale?
Well, something that I noticed, especially at a young age, is that they make money be the main factor. And it's almost kind of like it's overtaking, almost like an ego. Like, okay, I take you to a nice dinner, but that will only take you so far. You know, it's very attractive, it's nice. But the most important thing you can do is to show your value and your morals. Because I don't know, but some people are married here and different things. But for me, someone's value in how they treat a woman, their respect, taking the time to listen. I know women, we talk a lot all the time, but just understanding that where we come from, getting to know our family, and having that mutual respect. I think that a lot of young women, they have such high standards for the men that they're looking for. So of course we're gonna look for someone who's stable, have a nice relationship with them, but also in the men, I think it's very hard struggling because they always say, okay, you gotta make your money, you gotta do this and that. Yeah. But also in that perspective, it's very important that a man knows how to have that communication.
Yeah, I love your answer, by the way. It's a great answer for an 18-year-old.
Seriously, I was just going to say that.
What else? Exactly. I wish I was that smart at 18. 18, I was like, bong hits? What? But what I like about that is because you're actually giving young men out there such good advice. You don't lead with the money. Make that be sort of like, oh, Andy's rich? You know? But the thing that you want to lead with is everything you just said is the vibe. We talked about this on last podcast, what they call the Riz or the sauce. Shout out to the SOSCAST, so please subscribe. But that is the most important thing. Actually, genuinely being a dude who's listening, being present. Okay, cool. Well, was it Chris Rock who basically said that anytime a woman comes home, she just wants to complain about some girl she works with, and all he has to say is like, no way, go on. Get out of here. You don't say. What? And he says, you always have to throw in, I told you that bitch crazy. And that's all that a man has to do is just, because a woman wants to be heard and she wants to be seen. Well, I say the 3 P's of manhood are protector, provider, and then being present for your women. And when you're present, you do all that, that's when you get to the 4th P, which is procreate, but that's a whole nother conversation. So what do you want to say about this, Princella? Where are men going wrong, especially in the business, networking, first date component? Spit some game.
Well, it's real simple. They're operating from a place of scarcity and need. When you operate from a place of scarcity and need, your conscious mind is not there, and you're operating purely on a biological level to get your needs met. And so you'll do that by any means necessary. And when it comes to the majority of males, they don't have an abundance of access to women. And when they finally get in front of a woman, it's go, 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 let me get my needs met. You cannot operate in a selfless mentality when you are operating from a place of scarcity. So the difference between the gentleman here and everyone else is that they don't really need anything. They have money, they have careers, they have they know who they are personality-wise as a person. Most of these guys have no idea who they are. They don't have any goals. And even if they did, they don't believe in those goals, and they don't have enough drive. And so instead of becoming whole people, they're looking to suck from people that they meet. Doesn't matter if it's a business connection. It doesn't matter if it's a woman. They are in need and they are in scarcity, and they will never place other people before themselves.
Yeah. I mean, you've been in the financial world forever. You know how hard it is starting out in sales and networking where you don't have shit. You know, I'm in a good spot in my life. Justin, you're in a good spot in your life. Jose, you're in a good spot. You're in a good spot. Obviously, your husband in a good spot. Everyone seems to be in a good spot. You're 18, but fuck. By the way you're talking, you're in a good spot. So we're in a good, but I can remember being broke as a joke, not having no money. I had 1 suit, but I still went out there and I figured out what I had to do. And it took me a year. My first year in the business, I made $5,000. Horrible, 0. Like, thank God I had a friend's couch I could sleep on. But second year, like in any sales, boom, 6 figures, and then it's just been onward and upward since then. But what advice do you have for young guys out there when it comes to making money, you know, fake it till you make it, but also not being that dude who's essentially playing from a scarcity mentality and delivering value to who you're talking about?
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Is my mic on?
Yeah, we get that mic?
Okay, so I can't agree with you more. I agree with you. Whenever you first start out, you're desperate. You need. They can smell commission breath.
Yeah,
you can feel all of that.
Commission breath. That's a good one.
Dude, one of the
things that dude an Altoid. Let's go.
Dude, let's go. One of the things that I would define is the difference between convincing and persuading. Convincing is trying to get somebody to do something that you want them to do for your reasons. And that's what you were talking about networking with the billionaires. The poor guys are trying to get versus what you were doing, which is give.
Yeah.
Which gets us into persuasion. Persuading is getting somebody to do something for their reasons they already desire to do. And how do you figure out what somebody desires to do, whether you're trying to sell, whether you're in business, whether we're in relationships, is the tip I would give in networking is to be curious. Just ask questions, be genuinely interested in them. And if you're genuinely curious, like the way that I describe it is like, it's just an in-person podcast. We're in Starbucks, I met you, you look cool, tell me about your backstory. Oh, hey, that's cool, I know this thing. And then you connect. And then it just kind of goes from there. But
yeah, How to Win Friends, Influence People. If you haven't read the book, people always ask me, what book recommendations did you make? I'm like, sound like a broken record. But if you haven't read How to Win Friends and Influence People or Think and Grow Rich, these are like, there's a reason that those 2 books are what they recommend, and the Bible, if you're into that. Jose, you were in that financial world. Now you're strictly social media world. You're hearing all this. How does it relate to you? Because you played baseball. Yeah. So you understand about that, how the bros roll.
Absolutely. That's, I think, one of the main things that came to mind was spending so much time being on a team, being a part of a unit, helping other people get better, other people helping you get better, and seeing people at their best, seeing people at their worst, and really, I had a coach that always said, iron sharpens iron, and I really believe in that a ton with the people that I try to keep in my life. A lot of my friends, I'm very proud of them, and I'm a very competitive guy as a former athlete, and they're competitive as well. So in a way, you kind of have that friendly, not toxic competition, but obviously you're trying to improve, and every time you see one of another, hopefully business is better, and I find that's a commonality among high performers, higher achievers is iron sharpens iron, and you attract, like we've been said on the panel so far, is especially with Justin, I love what you said, doing that work and trying to, it's cliche, but try to be a good person and try to grow, and a lot of this stuff becomes a lot more natural instead of trying to force it, which I think is something that we run into sometimes. And from a business and sales perspective, I think one thing that's helped me a ton is obviously believing in the value of what you provide is very important. You do that by doing the work. But then just from a sales perspective, just understand, is it even a good fit? Because not everyone that you talk to is going to be a good fit for you as a person or your service or your offer or whatever it is. And that goes back to Clarissa's point about the abundance mentality. It's easier said than done sometimes. Yeah. But
Clarissa will take that compliment. No worries.
My apologies.
Yeah. Well, let me since you brought up Clarissa, a lot of what we're talking about here are sales jobs, marketing jobs, commission-based jobs, right? Respect to the workers out there who are on salary. I have so much respect for guys. I make 50 grand and I'm the fill in the blank, the editor over here, or I'm the underwriter at a certain job, or I'm working at digging a ditch. Like, they're working salaries. Respect to they're capped to a certain extent, right? But we all know that if you're in the sales world, hey, there's no cap, there's no nothing.
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit, right? I love some stuff you do, Waller, about like building America and how much respect you have for the guys who are getting their face dirty and getting just oil on them or dirt on them. Like that, those guys are the backbone of America. But a lot of times those guys are salaried. They're W-2, they're employees. Whether they're making 50 grand or 80 grand or 100 grand, whatever it is, that's their number, right? So they don't necessarily have to work on their networking skills as much as sales guys. Yeah? I mean, right? So Clarissa, her husband runs PBD Consulting, the sales guys. I mean, we've got how many sales guys up there at this point?
Oh God, it was like 30 a week or two ago. I think now they're up to like 50 or something.
Okay,
it's growing
some
like crazy.
Crazy number. I don't know half their names. I remember when there were 2.
Yep.
Okay, and one of them was your husband.
Yes.
And the first guy quit, and I remember saying to him, like, "Are you a fucking moron? You're the first sales guy here."
I was like, "Thank you, Jesus."
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second guy, ironically enough, was an underwriter making 40 grand a year. Now he makes 40 grand a month, our other friend, a guy. But just because his ability was his availability and he just stuck it out. Anyway, the first guy, such a good guy, but literally made Leo, like, you can't take me up. But the point is this. You're around all these sales guys, okay? Guys who are making $500,000 a year and guys who are making not enough to order KFC today. What do you see from the guys out there? Like, okay, this guy's got it. I like what he's saying. This guy sounds way too desperate. This guy can barely speak English. Work on that, homie. This kid's got talent. Like, what do you see out there from sales guys, since you're around these people, that is good, bad, and ugly?
I've got the best seat in the house. I'm literally like a fly in the wall watching everything.
Exactly. You're like Nat watching the podcast right now.
And
we love you.
To mirror what Princella said, she said people operate from a scarcity mindset. And so there's a lot of desperation, and people can sense that.
Yep.
I've firsthand witnessed what a successful salesperson and a successful sales career is, how it's built. And to mirror what Justin said, is you lead with value. So Leo is phenomenal about creating relationships, just kind of, hey, I'm a guy, I'm married. So his story, or how he shares, is basically, this is who I am, this is what I do, tell me about you. Where can we meet? Like, we've got to have some common ground. There's something that you've got to be looking for. There's some way that I can provide value and help you. Maybe I can connect you to the right person. If there's a sale or something down the road, perfect. But right now, let me just help. Let me see where you're at. Let me see if I have any value for you. He's never looking for a sale. They just end up coming. Like, his whole business is built on being a master at relationships.
Yeah.
And he goes the extra level to say, hey, my wife and I do this together. And so not only am I great at business, but hey, we've been married 20 years, we've got kids, we've got teenagers, you want to talk about kids, we have a dog. Like, he literally says, hey, this is everything that I am well versed in. Pick my brain about any of these things. And so, I mean, it's no wonder he leads, because he just basically opens up and says, how can I help you? This is what I'm well versed in.
And what mistakes do you see the young guys doing who aren't married, they got no kids, they don't have that, they can't relate,
They
right?
go in for the kill almost immediately. So they're like looking for the metrics, like, what does your business do? How much money do you make? Do you have a team? Like, all those things are good, but you kind of work your way there.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
you nurture a relationship, you ask about them, you ask about their business, you ask about what their goals are, what they're looking to achieve. And it's never like, oh, I got a deal on the first call. It's usually follow-up, it's usually nurturing. And the more that you water those seeds, the better off you'll be.
That's why I love what the analogy that Justin gave is, because I always say that dating and sales are very similar.
Very similar.
Very similar. Okay, you're constantly selling yourself. You don't want to be you don't want to try too hard, but make it be known. Hey, I'm interested in hearing about you. And the more that you're interested in hearing about the other person, the more they're talking about themselves. You're like, oh, this person's actually listening. I think it's just like the dating thing. Gusa, you've been on a date. You're dating a guy for how long now?
6 months.
6 months. That first date, was he trying to sell himself? Was he listening? It must have worked.
Absolutely. I also think, like, one of the biggest red flags for me when I'm on a first date is if the guy tries making a move on the first date, there's not going to be a second one. Because personally, I think on the first date, like, you should be trying to get to know me.
Yeah.
But, like, a guy who really respects you and wants to get to know you, he's not going to do anything to jeopardize that relationship with you. So I think that also is operating from a lack mindset when you're immediately trying to, like...
Scarcity mindset.
Yeah,
By
go
the
for
way,
something.
note to self, stop trying to hook up with the girl on the first date. Got it.
What can I say?
Thank you. Yeah.
I want to, because I spoke on relationship part earlier, and you guys talked about sales.
Yep.
So I'd been in sales practically all my life. I was top salesman in the car industry, direct marketing industry.
Top salesperson.
Yes, top salesperson. Okay. And cell phone industry, and I've always done well. In the car industry, one of the things, because that's probably one of the most snakish businesses to be in.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that customers can sense when they walk up there is salespeople rushing them as soon as they get there.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's almost expected.
Yes, but
Car dealership?
They've changed the program now. So now, you know, certain dealerships, they have what they call an up system, so that there's no salespeople rushing the customer, because that gives off an energy that makes people very apprehensive, right? So when you get a customer, it's not trying to sell them a car. It's trying to consult them on what they came in there looking for. So you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you use those properly, because what's the point of trying to sell a sports car to a family that has 5 children, right? Because you're not caring about the person's needs. Let's say this sports car has a $2,000 commission on it, but this car that they actually need is only have $500. So you have to take people's needs into consideration. Most people who need a sale, they just can't do that. And so most of the time I was so successful because I never sold anything. I never sold a customer anything. Every time they came in, I was top tier consultant. And in Houston, competing with several GMC dealerships or Lone Star or Chevrolet dealerships, they could go anywhere and buy that product. But what people don't understand is people don't buy products, they buy you. They buy you. And people do not know how to sell themselves because they're so selfish in their approach with people, right? So you mentioned Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill.
Of course.
Because those are the 2 books that I personally push when speaking with people and trying to get them to understand human behavior, human psychology. Kevin Trudeau said something that will always stick with me. And he says your income is the average of your 5 best friends. So look at all of your friends and look at how much money you make. Maybe you might want to drop those and get some new friends. But you cannot build authentic relationships with people unless you are personable and authentic yourself.
Respect.
Yes.
So anyway, final point. For you guys out there that want to get better at networking, number one, just do better. Be better. Like, watch this clip multiple times. It resonates more in sales than it does for your typical job, but it also works on the dating thing for sure, no doubt. But there's organizations out there like EO, entrepreneurs organizations out there. Obviously, Valuetainment, what we do here, we're putting on a massive event called The Vault. That's a lot of times geared for business owners, entrepreneurs. I mean, this is literally what everything's going on there. Why don't you take a second and talk about the War Room and everything that you're a part of?
Yeah, so the War Room is the best men's network in the world. You will cover everything that's really important about being a man, from fashion to style, boxing, fighting, finance. There's not really a subject in being a man. Women, of course. A lot of businesses get made in the War Room. It's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I really, truly believe that. I have Tig in town this week. He's got me boxing twice a day. That's why
I've been in sick shape right now.
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, it's the best group in the world. If you're interested in joining the War Room, you can message me on Instagram. And I think you always put the link in, so I don't have to spell it out.
Nice.
But one thing I want to say about what everybody was saying here is, like, one thing that I really try not to do, whether it's selling or negotiating a deal or working with an employee to get their package together, come work for me, is I never want to win a negotiation too badly. And the reason you don't want to do that, like selling somebody a car they don't need, or making too much money, or getting too much equity on something when they're going to be doing a certain amount of the work versus you, is that people can't see past their nose long enough to understand they need that relationship to last. Right. Mm-hmm. If you win too badly in a negotiation, you might have won today, but tomorrow they're going to start thinking about how badly you beat them, and then they're going to get sour inside, and there's going to become a wall between you, and that business will fail, that relationship will fail, that employment will fail, all of these things will fail. So if you can't find a way for you both to win long term, you will lose. Yeah,
you're absolutely right, dude. I've learned that the hard way. But this comes back to what we were saying before, is that you said you can't see past your nose.
Yeah, they can't see past their nose.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the biggest problem that young people have that haven't made money yet is they have a myopic point of view. They're thinking about, how can I pay rent this month?
Right.
And like the most beautiful thing that I would attribute to making money and having success, that I'm not worried about this month, next month. I'm not even worried about next year. I'm worried like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, this is what I want to do. But when you make a first commission and you're 26 years old and you have no money, and it's a difference between making $4,000 and $9,000, you're like, bro, I need that fucking money, dude. You have no idea. But if you can somehow be like, all right, this sucks now. This $5,000 is gonna cost me. But look into the future and be like, dude, I can make 50, 100, $1 million from this relationship. It's a no-brainer. Yep. And I've done that so many times because I had to suck it up when I was young.
Yeah, it's about being easy to work with sometimes. I'll give you a case in point.
Yep.
When Andrew got attacked, I had a certain amount of revenue coming to me that was over $10K a month.
Yep.
I lost it also. I didn't go to Andrew and cry about that. He's my boy. We're in it together.
Right.
And if you can't be in it together with even customers, it's never going to work. Customers, employees, whoever it is. So if you can see the bigger picture today and get wide around how you treat people the right way, seeds that you planted and forgot about will come back to you.
100%. 100%. Great talk right there, guys. Let's have a quick money talk right now. What's so funny in that?
Somebody asked if Vincenzo's coming back.
No, but I think Vincenzo should make a special appearance. Amazing. Nat, is there anything you want to say now? Do we have any chats you want to read? Nat's going to be reading the super chats.
Yeah, I'll be reading the super chats.
Stay active, Nat. Don't make me call on you. You just speak up, girl.
I'm excited. No, I think everybody hit it on the nose. I'll read super chats in a little bit. I think have you tee it up and move on to some other topics.
Okay. Here's a funny clip. We'll stay on the money topic, and then we'll get a little more relationship type stuff and some stuff that's going on out there. So here's an article that I saw. 65% of Americans, you have that?
Yes.
65% of Americans are doing the exact opposite of what they're supposed to be doing with their finances as an investing expert, right? A lot of it had to do with, getting out of the market, trying to time the market, buying when it's high, selling when it's low, everything that we know that you should be buying low, selling high, dollar cost averaging, all that crazy stuff, playing the long game, understanding that time is your number one ally, stuff that is basic to you guys, but maybe not necessarily known to the average person. But this kind of what we were talking about, the scarcity mentality. Thank you for bringing that up. Here's actually a funny clip that I found. That empty clip, Nat.
Yes.
Can we pull that up?
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a funny conversation about what it means to be broke and how to basically turn that around. Okay?
Got it. Ready?
Yep.
Empty. 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 Empty.
So the whole thing is my bank account is, play it one more time.
Empty. Empty.
My bank account is empty.
Empty. Empty.
Okay. So I look at it this way, guys. This is more of a lighthearted conversation, but let's bring some value to people at home. I look at money almost like social media. Everyone starts with $0 in the bank account. Everyone starts with 0 followers, 0 subscribers. You know, Valuetainment, PBD podcast. I remember when we started that, Pat and I, we had 0. I mean, it helped that we had a couple million on Valuetainment, but the podcast had 0. Okay? And we're like, all right, we're starting at 0. We just crossed 1.3 million, whatever it is now. I remember when I had no money and I had to figure out that deal, and I the most amount of money I ever had in my life was like $2,000 in my life, and I'm 25 years old and I get a sales job and I have my first big commission and I made like 15 grand, which was life-changing to me. And the girl I was dating at the time, I was like, hey, real quick, I just got to go to the ATM and I got to grab some cash. And I went to the ATM and I accidentally dropped the receipt in front of her. Oh, can you mind picking that up? She's like, 15 grand. I'm like, yeah, girl, whatever you want tonight. But it was like such a now it would be so fucking douchey to do something like that, right? But at the time, as a guy, you're like, so anyway, we've all been broke is what I'm saying. We've all been there, okay? So, JWALLER, there was a time that you were, you know, just an average dude in Louisiana working in real estate. Nobody knew who you were. Yeah. You weren't hanging with the Tates. You weren't hanging with Saz out there. But, you know, what was your lowest moment? What was your brokest moment? And what did you do to turn that thing around?
Yeah, man, actually, when I was about 28, I got down $1 million. I had grown the business. I started it at 24, the steel business. Mm-hmm. I'd grown it to the point where I wanted to scale. And I guess I wasn't ready to make the right hiring decisions. I hired a guy, he made some mistakes, and I lost $250,000 on a job. And then I lost 100 over here, and he quit. And he pulled some guys with him. And I was kind of just like, you ever see a boxer that's like kind of knocked out on his feet? It just hurt, bro.
It just
I was just getting smoked.
Yeah.
And I mean, all I did was pick it up by the bootstraps and keep going. My whole identity was tied to it. I didn't have a choice. I'd burnt the boat as an entrepreneur. I had done all the work to build the business. I was doing multi-millions in revenue, but I just kept losing money on these jobs, man. And so,
how did you turn it around?
I changed. I took a 30,000 foot view at what my risks were. I changed the way some of my contracts were going, both with the customers and then some subcontractors. I created a MSA where we kind of put more of the risk on other people, and not in a negative way, just holding them accountable to things that I used to pay for if they made a mistake. Mm-hmm. And we flipped the whole thing around, and it's been printing money ever since.
Atta boy, see? How about you, Jose?
Honestly, just growing up very poor. Immigrant to the United States. You know, I grew up in Central Florida with no AC, so you know it's hot down here too.
Hey, by the way, Central Florida, no AC in the summertime.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Kill yourself.
You know, little things like obviously baseball is really important to me, and seeing kids getting to play on certain travel teams just because their parents could afford the tryouts. What I'm trying to say here is I'm a big believer in the idea that in all adversity there's a seed of an equivalent advantage. I think that's a Napoleon Hill quote. And as an adult, I've had to work through it a little bit because there's a little bit of growing pain that comes with that. But for me, a lot of my fire has been seeing your parents struggle, the things that you didn't have access to, not because of your ability or how hard you worked, just because money wasn't available. Things like that drive certain people. It drives me for sure. And you know, I can't. When I went to college, I was living better than I'd ever lived because I had baseball scholarship, and you know, I didn't have to worry about things that I was worrying about.
When you went from basically figuring it out, you said you were working at Bank of America, which is Merrill Lynch.
Yep, Merrill
okay.
Lynch, yeah.
Were you making any money your first year?
I was doing okay. Like, you know, it was around 50 to 60, which was a ton of money for me.
Exactly.
Right?
But what was it when you were like, all right, I made it? Was there like a I made it moment? Was there an amount of money? Is there something that you bought? What was that like?
I think being the first person in my family just to clear 6 figures, I think a lot of people relate to the first time you ever make $100,000. It's like the richest you ever feel.
Yeah.
I can relate to that a ton personally. So I know it's all relative, but for me, that was a really big moment.
What'd you buy?
Oh, man. I didn't buy
AC
anything.
unit.
I didn't buy anything crazy. You know, I made some investments into myself.
Smart. So you didn't just ball out at the club?
No.
All right. How about you, Will?
So the brokest, my mom, we didn't grow up having any money. My mom grew up broke. I grew up broke. But I remember my wife and I, right before we got married in 2011, she was going to college full time, studying business. I was working in sales. It was really terrible. I mean, I would go on like 5-hour appointments and never close. It was terrible. We would eat at Taco Bell every night because that's all the money we had. My take-home pay for my full-time job while I was trying to transition, do my own thing, was $1,900 a month. That paid our rent at our apartment, paid all our bills, everything. And thinking about like what y'all were talking about, I don't know that I would have accomplished anything without her like believing in me, which is really interesting.
Your mom?
No, my wife.
Oh, your wife. My bad.
Yeah, both of them. They
Sorry,
both believe in me.
I don't know if your mom was eating at Taco Bell.
I don't take my mom out on dates.
To be honest with you, I just heard Taco Bell. I was like, that sounds really good right now, and I just dozed off for a second.
Yeah, so that was like our low point. It was really fun, like looking back on it.
Your wife believed in you when you were broke?
Taco Bell every night, man.
It's out there, Adam.
$7.
It's out.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that work, dude?
It was convenient, but it was by the apartment. It was we knew what we liked. You get a bean and cheese for 99 cents. I mean, it just worked.
How much younger was she than you?
I'm like 3 months older than her.
Wow.
So we're about the same age.
Okay, well, this is actually a perfect segue for this next conversation where I want the ladies to really weigh in on this, okay? So here's the article. And then you guys could share your broke stories. But, you know, when pretty girls are broke, it's just, you'll figure it out. Believe me, some guy will buy you dinner. Guys are broke, you know. You don't see pretty homeless women. That's another thing. This isn't a comedy bit. It's just a thing. But thank you guys for sharing the broke stories. You figured it out. But here's an article that I really want the ladies to weigh in on, and then we'll have the guys talk about it as well. Pull this up. Relationship expert says guys on low salaries shouldn't even bother dating. I'm a relationship expert, and guys on low salaries are wasting their time. Relationship coach Carla Elia is advising women to prioritize dating men with a provider mindset, okay? Carla insists that men who can't afford to invest in a woman should wait until they are financially stable to start dating. No Taco Bell, bro, I'm sorry. On the other hand, she stresses that women should not settle out of fear, okay? She says that when a woman settles down and gets married, fertility is not forever. This might be controversial. However, a man can make his life start over with a new girl at any age, okay? Moral of the story, a woman's time is more valuable because she has more to lose. I fully endorse this message. I want to hear what you ladies say. I say this all the time, that, you know, from 0 to 18, guys, girls, do your thing. Your 20s for a woman are the most important decade of your life, okay? Because by the time you're 30, you know, women get that 30, like, I'm 30, I'm freaking out. Like, I actually learned this from girlfriends of mine, specifically Kim Kardashian, like, straight up. And men, take your fucking time. 20s, like, meaning as far as relationships go, focus on yourself, focus on work, focus on self-improvement, fuck around on the relationship side of things, date a wrong girl, date a stripper, fuck around, like whatever you got to do, safely. But focus on yourself. Men can afford to make that mistake, women cannot. That's my opinion. Because men, by the time they're 40, they can still be dating young, attractive women, they can still have kids, they can still do it. There's women that are my age in their late 30s, early 40s, who are the hottest girls in high school who are still trying to land a man at 40 years old. And I'm like, baby, what happened? Every dude was like throwing himself at you like he's a fucking dick salesman, just like, dick here, and one day, like, it was like, and I'm like, why are you single? And these girls I absolutely love and adore, and I don't understand that. But the point is this, I completely endorse what this lady is saying. So ladies, should men, let's say men in their 20s who have not made any money yet, should they waste their time dating or should they continue dating? What are your ladies' thoughts?
Okay, I'll go first. I don't think you should say no to dating, but I think you should focus on self-improvement and those type of things so you can be the best version of yourself for a relationship. So I'm not saying you shouldn't go on dates because, look, at the end of the day, I would love to just go to McDonald's and have good conversation. I'm like a really easygoing girl.
Yeah, but you're not going on a date with McDonald's.
I'm not going on it. Well, also, I'm in my 30s now, but in my 20s, different. And also in my 20s, I didn't work enough on myself to be in that like great relationship either. So you can be 24 as a woman, and yes, I know time is always ticking, like I understand that, but maybe you're not on that right page either. So to say don't date in your 20s, especially for men, I don't know. I'm a little anti that. I don't think. Are you
30 yet?
I'm 33.
You're 33. Mm-hmm. You look great.
Thank you.
Do you have any friends who are 35, 40?
I definitely have friends that are older.
Women?
Women.
How many of them are still single?
I have a handful, especially being
What's going on in their mind right now? The 40-year-old hot chick that's single.
Oh,
Walk me
freaking
through
out.
that. They're what?
Freaking out.
They're freaking out. What do you mean? Life's great. Being independent. It's awesome. What are you talking about? Why are they freaking out?
Obviously, and not everyone wants a family and children. Like that's for a certain individual, right? There's people that are okay with being single, things like that. But you want to spend your life with someone at the end of the day. You want to have that stability or even that friendship. A relationship is a friendship. So having that person you can count on. Look, I don't think dating a model is for everyone. And I think a lot of guys are like, oh, I want to date the model. But you also have to take all the other things that come along with dating a model. And I don't think every man can handle that. So my friends in the industry that are single and older, they were either dating the wrong guys, dating just for money, when then they're not being seen or heard, and they thought it was going to be a great life, but they're unhappy.
So those women who are late 30s, 40s, beautiful, that are freaking out, your words, if you could go talk to them when they were 21, 25, 30 even, knowing what you know now, what would you tell those women?
Focus on yourself. Do self-improvement and find a man that has also done that for themselves as well. Don't focus like just on the money, because I think a lot of people, especially in my industry, women are trying to find the meal ticket. But you get the meal ticket and then you don't realize that, okay, that guy that's making millions of dollars, he also wants you to sit at home and just be a housewife, and maybe that's not going to make you happy. So focus on yourself and then attract a man that's also into those same things or has done the self-work.
Well, what's the famous quote? Women who marry for money and men who marry for beauty are equally robbed in the end.
Agreed.
There you go. How about you? Are you 30 yet?
Yes, I'm in my 30s.
Okay, so did I offend you?
No, not at all.
Okay. Do you know women in their late 30s, their early 30s, 40 that are freaking out?
Yes, absolutely. But
Why?
I don't think there's a time limit. And I'll say this because in relationships, I think every relationship is a lesson where you grow. Okay. So I think you have to put yourself out there, like with anything, with business, with entrepreneurship, you take risk, right? And I can look back in my past relationships and I've learned something from every single relationship, right? But I do agree that when you are the right person, you work on yourself, you attract the right person that you vibrate the same frequency. But you are growing still at the same time. So I think that, like what Amber said, work on yourself. If I could tell my younger self something, work on yourself, grow, read books, do personal development, but work on your business so that you bring value to the relationship. And if that's what you value, bringing value to the relationship as a business owner or the things that you can provide as a provider, then I think that the relationship becomes a little bit more smooth.
Let me ask you guys a question.
You're not looking for something out of it, you're bringing something to it.
Are you saying, hey, work on yourself, work yourself? Are you talking about the ladies or the men or both?
Both. I think both have
Okay.
to be at a happy place mentally to be able to, show up to the relationship the best way
Do you
possible.
think women would be better served if they stopped working on like themselves, like self-improvement, right? We get it. Look your best, all that. And learned how to be a good wife?
Yes.
Would that be helpful? Who said yes?
Me.
Why do you say that?
Well, taking back to what we said in the main question, you said something about men with low wages, and then you said also the provider mindset.
Yeah.
So those key points is that even if a man at this current moment, no matter what age he is, has a lack of money, if he has a provider mindset, he's always going to find a way to take care of the woman, no matter what. And I understand in her perspective how she was saying, like, oh, it's good to focus on yourself, get into the business. But the thing is that men actually don't look for that specific factor, because I'm very feminine, so as traditional as it could be is a man's always going to try to bring their side of the table, and for them it's being able to say, I can take care of you. Now, I do believe that it's good to have a partnership, like how she said, it's a good balance. But as a woman, what makes us stronger is that we are able to provide for our family, take care. Our goal is to nurture. So if we're not able to provide that, and we can't nurture a man, or we can't nurture our children, then there's no point.
I think you do both.
I agree with you, but you also want to consider, I think especially today, working on yourself and being in a good space is very important, especially because you're going to be teaching and leading your kids. And if you don't do any self-improvement by yourself as a woman, right, when you have a daughter and you're trying to make her in the best position to be the best version of herself and have the future that you want them to have, that's going to be the ideal, it's very important that you also work on self-improvement as yourself as a woman. Exactly. Men, absolutely, that's a no-brainer. And I do think, if you're going to date, you want to make sure it financially makes sense. Don't break your bank trying to pull a girl. But I think there's a lot of value in women working on themselves. And today, how that is really beneficial is because now today, by working on yourself in a public space and being that influencer, income comes from it. Now, do I think women should, I make this income, I don't need a man? No, I don't think so. But there is value in becoming your own influencer and having that mindset, because once kids start to happen, right, you become their leader and their example. So there is a lot of value in that self-improvement. And today, you just happen to make money from it too.
Of course,
let me ask Karen, right?
Yes.
You said you're 18? Mm-hmm. Okay. When's your birthday?
April 6th.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Back to the original question. Would you date a guy your age who didn't make money yet?
Well, I see
a girl with your beauty, your headspace, which seems like you've got it together. Would you date a guy your age, just freshman in college, has no money? Is that something you'd consider, or do you want someone a little bit more established, a 24-year-old guy who just made his first $100,000?
Well, of course, it's wonderful to have always everything, but I also see it as an 18-year-old that everything is always an investment. For a man, they're going to invest in a woman, and for a woman, they need to invest in a man. So if I see that a man has those factors, that he's able to provide, he's able to have that mindset that no matter what, he wants to grow, it's an improvement. There's people who they say they want to do something. If I see that they're willing to take that risk and they're a risk taker, I think it's important. I've came from a family who went through poverty, and they've grew together, and I can say that no matter what circumstance, you want to make sure that whoever you select as a partner will be with you no matter what. And I can even say what she said about women having value. Of course, I completely agree. I do drop shipping. I do it for my self-improvement. But until I find that right man, I'm willing to.
No, I guess here's my question, I guess, ultimately. Guys, we know what we need to do. We need to be the full package, triple threat. We need to make money. We need to work on ourselves, like our looks, how we dress, our physical appearance. Like, we got to just stay in shape. We understand that. And we have to work on our game, our personality, our riz, our saw. Like, we got to be a good person. Like we talked about earlier, like, what's better than having rich, good friends? But rich, good friends are actually good people. Amazing. So it's all about self-improvement, all about making all about money with that. Women, I feel like there's another layer. Right? Where it's like, because women are looking for men with all that money. Guy, like Justin, do you care how much money a girl makes? Zero. Jose, do you that's not a thing, and you're in the finance world. Will, it's not a big deal. Like, would it be great if this beautiful, amazing, awesome, vibey kind of girl also had some money? Sure. But if she's great and beautiful and good character and good family and good values and doesn't have money, I'm like, all right, like, still take it. Like, so the 4 dudes on the panel are in full agreement that money is not top 5 things that you're looking for in a woman, right? Would any of you women go on the record and say money is not in the top 5 of things, money and success, top 5 of things that you'd be looking for in a man? Anyone willing to go on a record here? Top 5. Any man willing to go on a record and say that money is on the top 5 that they're looking for in a woman? Show of hands by the gentleman. Not the top 5. Money.
Oh yeah, not in the top 5.
Exactly.
I don't
so
care.
Here we have agreement.
Yeah.
All guys when hands went up. Money and women not in the same, not in the top 5. 0 hands went up from the women. Okay. So what we're looking for is totally different. So my question to you is that you're like, I'm working on myself and the self-improvement. That's great, but guys don't give a shit about the money, financial component of that. And that's why I was like, well, don't you think like part of the self-improvement is learning how to be a good wife and a good complementary role to your successful husband? So like Clarissa, okay? And you're sort of an anomaly, and so are you, by the way, high school sweethearts.
I was going to add, because first boyfriend, high school sweetheart,
anomaly.
No success. Zero success. Like
anomaly.
Basically in diapers.
Exactly.
But we figured out and we got clear on the things that were important, like the non-negotiables, like, is he a protector? Does he stand up for me? Does he work? What are all those things that I'm looking for? Was he rich? Dude, we were like he was in college. No, rich is not a thing. We've built something together over time, but the foundation was kind of built on like those core values. Like we got really clear up front about the things that were important to me and that were non-negotiables. I said, I want to have kids. I want to stay home when I have those kids. I want to be the one to raise them. I want to drive them everywhere. I want those first, and I want to experience them, and I don't want anybody else getting to experience those things. That means that I'm going to work before I have kids, and I'm going to work when my kids are in school. But there's a period in which I'm, tapping out from career.
And why is that?
Because I wanted to be home with my kids.
Aha, we're going somewhere here now.
But
so here's my point. Now, what is the role? Let me put words in your mouth. You tell me if I'm wrong. Leo could not find this office from the other office a mile away. Leo does not literally know what school your kids go to.
This is true.
Literally.
Yep.
He's like, I don't know, ask Clarissa. Leo can't do anything other
He's
than
really
make
good
money.
at what he does.
He's really good at making money. Yep. And what I love about what your guys' relationship, and this is oversimplified, and I get it, life is nuanced, I get it. Honey, you make the money. You be the guy. You be the sales manager. You run the business. I'll take care of everything else. I know where the kids go to school because I drop them off every single day. Okay, I know how to get to the other office because I'm running around. But you're also support staff in his business.
Yes.
You have 2 businesses together, right? The insurance business and obviously valuetainment. But so how comfortable are you being the COO to his CEO?
100%.
Okay.
We balance each other out. Like, we've grown our relationship in our business to the point where he's on a coaching call and he's distracted and he's like, I need you to come in and like, take the wheel for a little bit. He handles whatever he needs to, and then we hop back on. We finish each other's sentences. So we've literally grown our lives intertwined. So there isn't a story that he tells that I cannot finish. There isn't a presentation that he shares that I don't know where he's going. But we've kind of built our life that way. I mean, I've spent my entire life with him. So we've kind of grown and evolved and adapted, but our vision was the same. So getting clear on what you want out of life, how you want to do it, what your non-negotiables are, where you want to be. Like, I think Sunday, he just said, he's like, what does your plans for your parents look like? So we've established that we want to retire his parents, and we've kind of started a process there. And I said, my parents are a little older, but same as you, I want to make sure that my parents are financially taken care of. And so we're setting those motions into play. Like, we are making sure that our parents are being taken care of. We've had these conversations. What is that going to take? So I don't work outside of the home. I don't punch in anywhere, but it doesn't mean that I'm not fully equipped to run a business. So I've grown successfully. I basically compare it to every book that he reads, I read. Every presentation that he attends, I attend. Every training that he attends, I attend, because I look at it as a software upgrade, right? So if we're speaking in code, and he's a computer and I'm a computer, and he keeps growing and he keeps advancing and he keeps developing, and I don't do the same, we won't be able to communicate. Eventually, there'll be such a gap that we won't be able to talk to one another. I can't have that.
That's self-improvement.
And so
but
for
it's to
me,
be in tune with your husband.
well, not only my husband, but my circle. So your network is your net worth. Everyone that we talk to is reading the books. I don't want to not know the code, right? And so although I don't have a job where I punch in, and although I'm not responsible to anybody or accountable for anything, I do the work. I show up because it's required of me.
Super jazz.
All
right, hold on. Let me go to the two girls now. Just, you know when to talk. All right, cool. Ladies, let's get the ladies on the panel, because we asked the guys the broke as they've been. And we asked the ladies about dating guys who don't make any money. Gusta, you're 24, 5?
24.
Okay. This new relationship you're in, how old is he?
He's 25.
Same age?
Yeah.
Okay. The last guy you dated before him, how old was he?
A lot older.
A lot older?
Yes.
So obviously that one didn't work out. So we're not here to rehash old relationships. But, 25, I assume he hasn't hit his stride yet. When you say a lot older, how much are we talking?
I would say over 10 years, 15.
Okay, so he's 35.
Yeah.
He's really old. He's like Justin Waller's age and a little bit younger than me. I mean, relax, bro. Whoa. So should young women not waste their time dating guys who haven't made money yet?
I don't agree with that. I think if a man has ambition and he has goals and he's like, has a really good lifestyle, he goes to the gym, like he takes care of himself, he eats well, I think that's enough to be really attractive versus, providing already. Like, I understand that he's young, but like I see that he has those goals and that drive to get there, and I'll help him accomplish that on the way. But I don't expect a young man to already come equipped with that kind of, financial
Ambition
status.
is sexy. I hear that all the time.
Right, of
Ambition
course. Very
is
attractive.
sexy.
Seeing a man work hard, it's like, okay, like, you got
No
me.
doubt.
Like, I know you got me even though you don't got me right now.
That's
like,
amazing. But I also know a lot of ambitious guys who are 40 and still trying to figure it out.
That's tragic.
And that's where this article basically saying is that a woman's time is more valuable because she has more to lose. Does anyone think that a man's time is more valuable than a woman's time in their 20s? Are we in agreement here? You guys let me know in the audience. Whose time is more valuable in their 20s? A woman's? I'm talking about sexual market value, right? Is a woman's time more valuable or a man's time? So raise your hand if you think it's a woman's. Woman's time is more valuable. Raise your hand if it's a man's time is more valuable. No, nothing. So we agree here that women need to prioritize their 20s because you don't want to end up, what'd you say that the girls are?
Freaking out.
Freaking out. I don't know many men who are 40 and freaking out. I know a lot of dudes who are 40, millionaires, traveling to Ibiza, St. Bart's, going everywhere this summer, have money, they're in shape, life's good. They're definitely not freaking out. They got too many women to deal with to freak out.
Well.
Those are the kind of guys I know. But I know a lot of women who are 40 and are, what are they doing again?
Freaking out.
And we don't want these lovely, pretty women to do what?
Freak out.
We want them to find a good what?
Husband.
Oh my
wife,
God, it's like you can finish my thoughts.
want.
Holy shit. Princella, final word. Because I know you got some different takes on things.
All the way.
She's the queen maker.
Yes.
Tell us why everyone on the panel is wrong.
Everybody's wrong because first and foremost, relationships and partnerships are two totally different things. Relationships are for broke people. People who look for relationships have a need that needs to be filled, and they don't want to do it on their own, and they don't have the money to pay for it to get done. So they look for other people to do it, and then they build a relationship that ends up draining them both. And then if one party elevates out of that relationship, they tend to move on to something that fits the new person they've become based on the energy they've taken from that relationship. Partnerships are with two whole individuals who actually don't need each other, but they work in tandem with each other.
Preach, girl.
Right?
Go on.
So I'm not an advocate for relationships at all. And one of the things with men, women, I don't think women have really a right to speak on men because most women have no earthly idea about male psychology and male behavior. One of the things that you said is, don't you think women should develop themselves to be a wife to men? I say no, but most men would say yes, because if women actually did the personal development that men should be doing, it would be too difficult for men to reach that woman. So men typically want to keep a woman at a level that they can reach her at. So they don't want women to do personal development. They're not going to say, hey, ladies, go read Think and Grow Rich. Go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Become a better version of yourself. Men are already struggling with women being blind and making poor decisions, and they still can't level up. If women leveled up, the majority of males would not make it. And so in order for two people to have flourishing partnership between you, the woman needs to be a whole individual, and so does he. But men do not want to do the work that's required to become a whole individual. They typically use women to get where they want to get, and I'm totally against that.
So here's what I like what you said, relationships versus partnerships. I think someone once said, you know, a relationship is 100%. It's 50% the man coming together, 50% the woman, you come together and make it whole. And I fully agree that it's like I need I'm just using man and woman. I mean, it could be woman and woman, man and man, I get it. The woman needs to be at 100% where she's at, and the man needs to be at 100% where he's at. And they come together. At the same time, we just established a Snapple fact that money is definitely in the top 5 what women are looking for, but is not in the top 5 what a man is looking for. And all I was simply saying was like, all right, like read Think and Grow Rich. I don't think any guy in the panel would not want a girl to think and grow rich, but also maybe read a book like How to Be a Good Wife. Well, at the same time, yeah, a man should probably read, you know, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I get that. But I think it's more incumbent on the woman to be that good wife, because the man's job is clear. Provide, protect, be there for your girl. Done. But if a woman if she's thinking, look, I got to self-improve so I can make more money, so I can be this guy, the guy's like, yeah, we don't care about that. What don't you understand?
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
People think that people should live and do things for other people. No, a woman should not be living to please a male, and a male should not be living to please a woman. A woman should not center her life and do things based on what he wants. It don't matter what he wants, because let me tell you something. A man is going to chase a woman regardless, because that's his biological nature.
I agree.
And it makes a woman make the proper decision when she does not need anything. And when you get to that level of interdependence, it is an automatic thing that when you give, you receive. That's a universal law. So women who have everything that they need and they're operating in happiness, that feminine energy is going to give back. The male has not figured that out yet. And so what he's demanding is a woman do something for him, because he has not mastered the art of developing himself and giving back to receive what he has put in. So most people are not operating there. In order to operate like that, you have to grow to be that person. So it takes it all the way back to the initial conversation. Get to know people, and don't go in with I, my, me. Go in to give value, and guess what? The money will come in the conversation probably tomorrow without you even mentioning it. So here's the thing. If men just do for women and allow women to be free, they will get everything that they're begging to be given to them. But they don't want to do that. The reason they don't want to do it is because they're not developing themselves as whole human beings. They're operating in scarcity, need, domination, and control. That's just the bottom line. And
well said.
We're never going to get anywhere.
Her voice is so soothing. I'm like,
so soothing, yeah. I feel like I'm gonna go take a bubble bath right now. I fully agree. I endorse your message. The one caveat is a woman's expiration date comes before a man's. So a man might take longer to become that dude, whereas a woman has to be a little bit more intentional with her time. Fully agree. Women need to improve. Men need to improve. But we need to improve on different things. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Final word, Jay Waller. Thoughts on what she just said?
I actually agree with where you land. Respectfully, not so much as how you get there. I don't think these women want to be boss bitches. I don't. I think the problem is men, like you're saying. But the problem is that men are not stepping up enough, just like you're saying, in a way that would allow a woman to trust him enough to let go and let him lead in the proper way. I do think there's a yin and yang between men and women. I do think they're very different. I think their goals are different. And for that reason, I think what a woman really wants is a man that she can trust to be a provider, a fucking playmaker, the person that makes her dreams come true and not have to worry about whether you're going to be able to make rent or not, or not have to worry about whether you're close enough, whether he's leaving, all these different things. So although I agree with the end point, I think truthfully these girls don't want to be men as much as people want to believe they do. And that pressure is just on them to do so until they run into the man they know they can let go for. That's all.
Big up Jay Waller. On that note, can I play a little video of your exchange with this very famous internet girl that you guys have a little love affair?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. So, Nat, there's this, it's so funny. There's this girl, Brett Cooper. You guys familiar with her? I think she does stuff with the Daily Wire. Massive channel. You're a fan?
I watch it.
Okay, gotcha. It's so funny because let me tee this up. She sees Jay Waller, 6'4", good-looking dude. He starts talking about role of a man, role of a woman. First thing she says, she's seen the video, she's like, I don't like this guy. Watch the end of the video and see what the conclusion she comes with in the end about our friend Jay Waller. Go ahead.
Alpha males versus beta males.
I think one of the most beautiful things about love is being able to fully take care of a woman.
Batman, I already don't like him.
Every fairy tale that was ever written for all of time was about a man saving a woman from a castle in a dragon den. I think that's absolutely beautiful, and I have nothing against women being empowered. I do feel like the happiest women in the world are the ones that look up to a man and that he can fight every day to love her and love his kids and his family and provide.
That's a fact. Damn it, he's actually smart. He's bringing up a really important point. Alpha males versus...
Okay. So the point is, she judged a book by the cover. I already don't like him before there's 3 seconds. By the end of the video, she's blushing. All right, I actually like him. He's really smart. Anyway, what's going on with you and Brett Cooper? Have you guys ever had a conversation?
Never had a conversation with her. And Patrick Bet-David walks in.
PBD's in the house, yes.
So I've never had a conversation with her, but I respect her. Got no issue with her. Cute girl. Whatever. I really didn't think about it much further than that.
Yeah,
you know,
but this was going viral for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay.
She did one, and then Ben Shapiro did one. I super love Ben Shapiro. Respect her. No issue with them. I got no beef with Brett Cooper. I'm sure she still doesn't like me, but I do say that the girls that only hit the boys that they like at recess. So it is what it is. Man, you know?
So maybe the next time that you're available, we'll invite Brett here. Okay, maybe we'll do a panel with Brett.
Here's the thing: I'd love to meet her. Like, hey, shake her hand, be friends with her. I'm not trying to argue with the girl, man. You know.
You don't need to argue with the girl. You think we're arguing here, guys? We're having a respectful dialogue.
I'm gonna come in. She's gonna tell me my shirt's too tight. She actually said that next. You know.
What's funny is there was another video. I'm like, I don't play that.
Yeah,
video.
but in
she said unbutton the buck.
In that video, she's biting her lip. So I'll be sure to paint the jeans on extra tight that day.
Ladies, what do you think? That she's a young, attractive girl, very opinionated. How many subscribers does she have? Millions, doesn't matter. From a lady's perspective, when a girl's like, I already don't like him, but, you know, whether it's by the end of the video or by the end of the date or the end of the hangout, she's like, well, actually, you know, what's going through a girl's mind? Amber.
I mean, I don't think she did enough research before making the video, I feel like.
Not even about Justin per se, but a girl who judges a book by the cover and they're like, oh, he's already a dick, but by the end of the date, all right, I like this guy. You understand what I'm asking, ladies?
Kind of, I guess she gets wooed by him a little bit by listening more and more.
And how does that happen? What is it? What must a man do? Like Justin gave a great analogy. The girls, hit the guys at recess, kind of a thing. What is it in a woman's mental mindset while they're like, he's a this. He seems like a player. He seems like a jerk, but there's something about like that they end up liking, right?
I mean, I think it can go so many different ways. I mean, I think as a woman also, it can go into like past trauma. It can go past into your, how you grew up. I mean, there's all these different things that can go into like, we always like the jerk or we always like the bad boy. Like, so I don't know.
Go ahead, Justin.
Respectfully, oftentimes I don't think a girl knows what she likes or why she likes a man or even that she does. I truly believe attention is currency when it comes to a woman. There was a very handsome man on that panel with me. She made one little comment that he was a nerd, never talked about him again, and focused on making fun of me. Mm-hmm. If I am getting messages that are paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs long from a girl that's mad at me, I know that she loves me. Truly. It's the girl that doesn't text you at all you need to worry about. And so when it comes to women, attention is currency.
Facts.
So for any young man watching a thing right now, understand you should not listen. You should listen to what women say and take it into consideration. But in this particular lane of conversation, do not listen to what women say, listen to what they do. And if those paragraphs are coming, the longer they are and the more impactful they are, and like she was just typing away, dude, she fucking loves you, bro. Don't forget that.
Awesome.
Don't lose your frame.
Yes.
Attention is currency to a woman. And Brett, I appreciate the attention. You're cute as a button.
Anything you as a cute and button girl would like to add to that?
No, he's right. I think that he's absolutely right. Like the energy, like obviously when a woman is in her feelings and she's expressing and she's putting that energy into it and she's being very descriptive on everything, that's energy because she cares. She's trying to prove a point to make sure she's not losing that person and to kind of show her perspective. But I think when someone is, they say, again, energy is everything. So when someone shows you who they are, you have to believe them. Mm-hmm. And I think if no one is fighting, then obviously it's a clear sign that the person just doesn't care. They're not in that place. But if someone is passionate about something or they love the person or they want to go after something, obviously they're going to show you that they want it,
Yeah, I love what like Coach Greg Adams says. He's like, man must protect his meat. I'm like, oh, what? Your money, your energy, attention, and the time. Like, women want your money, they want your energy, they want your attention, they want to take your time. And you use the word energy, you use the word attention. We've talked about money this whole time. Time, too. Oh, I can't even help myself right now. But absolutely right. Would you agree with this, Karen?
Yeah, I completely agree.
That a woman's attention or energy, even if it's like negative, is better than zero response whatsoever.
Well, especially when it's negative.
Actions speak louder than words. So sometimes, I mean...
Justin's toxic as fuck right now.
I know.
Especially when it's negative.
I noticed that sometimes it's always the craziest girls, too, that they really, really love that guy. Because if they're taking the time to be crazy head over heels over you, then like negative or positive, it's still
attention,
taking that time.
Energy, time. Anyway, speaking of crazy girls giving attention, Nat, what's up? How we doing over there?
I'm doing great. I actually really love that point. I am thinking actually of paragraphs that I've sent. Just
exactly.
Just know I love you.
Yes. Paragraphs.
Yes.
But if you weren't into the guy, you just wouldn't respond.
Yeah, but I also don't give people my attention. I'm not into them. But yes, if I didn't care about them, I wouldn't send them
you
a
just
paragraph.
Paragraphs.
Yes. So
Gusta, you agree?
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, like a lack of response is a response in itself. I don't care. Like.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Awesome.
You'd rather have a negative response from a girl. Yeah. You're an asshole. You're this, that. Than like, who is that?
1,000%. Indifference
No
is
doubt.
the death of love, bro.
Yes.
Indifference is the death of love, bro. If you don't care, it's nothing.
Okay. Gentlemen, you want to add to this from a financial component?
It's the same thing in sales. Apathy is the worst thing you can have. You got to get them out of apathy to why your product is important. So indifference is the death of love. Dude, I want a tattoo, bro.
Princella?
I'm in 1,000% agreement.
Wow, look at us.
Oh, yeah.
Coming together now.
Oh, yeah, finally. Yeah, 1,000% agreement. And I was just telling a friend of mine about this guy who was trying to talked to her at a time that she didn't want it, and she wanted to respond. I said, don't respond. I said, because he wants your energy. See, I know males. I know men from the front to the back. So do not respond, because men only respond to no contact, because that will tell them more than any word that'll come out of your mouth. So just don't say nothing to him. And guess what? He'll be running after you. And just keep that brick wall up.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know from experience. There was a lot of text being exchanged for days and days and days and days and days, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then finally, I didn't get a text back. I was like, huh? I was like, oh, she's done.
Yeah.
And I realized, okay, this girl's done. But you understand that. But even to get to that point. Guys, if she's texting you back, you got a chance, buddy. If you're an asshole, you're a piece of shit, you're a jerk, I can't believe you, you're in the game, buddy. If there's no response, game's over. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. Well, congratulations, all you assholes out there. Just keep up the good work.
She loves you.
Couple more things. This will be a funny topic right now. We'll go back to some money stuff. Speaking of ladies, men, intersexual dynamics. Now, you have that video of the guys partying at the club?
Yes.
Okay. Let's play that video real quick. So, ladies, gentlemen, we've all been to nightlife clubs. We've all been out and about. Not you. Not old enough to be there. But watch this video. You're going to learn, young lady. Don't you love when something like this happens? Play this. Volume.
What's up?
The bill. How are you paying?
Oh, we're all gonna split it. All of us.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Nat.
Yes.
We went out.
Yeah.
This weekend.
This past weekend.
We had a great time.
I didn't split the bill.
No. There was how many girls at our table hanging out?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, at the other place. Oh, there was like maybe
Yeah, there was
15 or something.
Okay. Bill came.
I didn't even see the bill.
Yeah, girls didn't see the bill.
No.
Some of the guys had alligator arms. They were like, no, the bill's here. Well, who was there taking care of the bill?
I don't even know.
Yeah, me, motherfucker.
Okay, thanks,
That was
Adam.
me. That would have been me taking care of the bill. But is it just expected, ladies, especially at a bar, club,
Yes.
nightlife venue, bill comes, women don't want no part of that bill? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll answer.
Go ahead, Nat. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially in a party space, men don't really want to party with a whole bunch of guys around. Yes, they will pay the bills, but what you're only also paying for is the part of having beautiful women around. That's part of the bill, even though it's not included in it. It's not maybe an ideal place to meet a person, but you can definitely meet people there.
Got it.
I promise you, if you discuss splitting a bill with a beautiful lady, you are not going to see her again.
Yeah, Mel, if I asked you to throw down on the bill, it's a $2,000 bill for drinks, great times, and amazing stories with friends. Hey, you've had a ton to drink tonight. I saw you giving shots to all your girls. Why don't you throw in $500? Mel, what's up? You down?
You know what? I don't know. I've been in situations like this. I'm not going to even lie. This is the truth. I have paid because I've actually felt bad that I did consume a little bit too much. But there also has been times where if I was a little bit tipsy, then I just was like, all right, I'm out.
So, that one time you paid that may or may not be true. But
that's true.
what about the 99% of
It wasn't
times?
a good night either. I remember that.
The 99% of times you're not splitting the bill.
No, because...
Why not? Why are you not even thinking about it is my question.
Okay, well, sometimes the people that I've been with will always be like, don't worry, I got it.
Of course.
So it's like, okay, so maybe it becomes like a second nature.
Okay. How many of the other girls that you're with are throwing in? $100, $500, zero. Okay. Amber, you ever thrown in on the bill at an expensive restaurant or club? No. Okay, interesting. Justin, you ever thrown in on the bill when it comes?
I hope so.
Every time.
Every time. Okay.
And let's get this clear, as it should be.
Yeah.
I took my team. What was it? Last weekend, I took my whole team. And we bottle after bottle after bottle. I spent like $60,000 in a night.
60?
60.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
we got, it was like stupid.
I'm dropping a couple grand. I'm not 60.
But the point,
Save that money.
But the point is this: That's how it should be. That's how it should be. Like no man doesn't want to be a hero to a woman in some way. That's what makes all the work worth it.
100%
You can make millions and millions and millions of dollars, and if you have nobody to spend it on and love and care for, then what's the fucking point?
Yep.
You may as well stay home, smoke weed, and beat off to porn. You may as well. It's the beautiful thing about love. I think a man should always pay the bill, open the fucking door, be the man, take charge of the whole situation every time. It's how it should be. It's not even a debate.
Yep, I fully agree.
And any woman that acts like she wants to split that with you is a fucking liar,
right,
or a crazy liberal. One of the two. But I can
it's
tell
so
you
funny.
this.
I know crazy liberals.
I just want to finish
that
the
come
thought.
to the club and they're not splitting the bill. Go ahead.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
But whether whichever one of those she is, a liar or a liberal, she will die alone with her cats, bro. You know what I'm saying? It is the beautiful thing about love. No man wants a woman he can't save from a castle on Dragon, G. That's a beautiful thing.
That doesn't want to be saved.
Yeah, you get to do that for people you care for.
What's the song? Don't save her. She don't want to be saved.
Exactly,
Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Who sings that song?
Shout out Project Pat.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't even want to be saved.
Yeah.
Princella?
Oh, I'm in.
I mean, you're a unique character.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
you're
just
searching
different.
for the same thing the men are searching.
No, I'm not. No, I don't
So,
search
but
for
are you
anything.
splitting the bill at the club?
No, I don't search for anything. See, I spent 8 years in the military and I was commissioned as an officer. Okay, first and foremost, leadership. When you get to a place of leadership, first of all, leading yourself first. Those who follow you, you're responsible for them, right? So, period, right? So when I was in position, I was responsible for all of my platoon's equipment. I had to sign for them, right? So if a man wants to say that he's a leader, he's going to first show that by leading himself. His behavior is going to show it based on how he carries himself. But if I'm going to a restaurant or whatever, first of all, I'm a boss. I'm not looking for anybody to do anything for me. But if you're going to come, I'm always prepared to go pay for my own stuff all the time. But if a man
when you were
is
married
there,
to a man who took care of the bill.
both of us.
What do you mean?
Both of us, because I still worked. He went out to work. I don't like being a stay-at-home mom.
But did you lose respect for your man that he wasn't taking care of the bill?
No, he was doing as much as he could, but he wanted me to be a stay-at-home mother, and that ain't what I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
That actually killed me on the inside
Gotcha.
because I'm a go-getter, right? So when I go to a restaurant, I'm prepared to pay for my own things. But you know what happens when you're around a man? Even if you're prepared to pay for your own stuff, they always pay.
Yes.
Without me asking.
Do you think that's the way it should be?
Yes, because here's the thing.
Okay.
Men claim to be leaders, right?
Right.
And they think that the women are the subordinates. Well,
No, I wouldn't say that.
well,
I would just say they have a different role in a
well,
relationship.
here's the thing. They think women's supposed to be submissive, and they think the man is the leader. A position of leadership, you are responsible for yourself and those who you lead.
Yeah.
Right. So a man who is a leader, he will take care of those who are his followers. So he's going to act in that way, no matter what. The CEO, if he wants to reward his sales team or whatever, they're not asking the sales team to pay their own meals. They're providing that for them, right? That's just the behavior of a leader, right? So if I'm going, I'm prepared because I'm a boss. I'm prepared to pay for my own stuff. I'm not begging and waiting on nobody to do anything for me. But a person who has the leadership mentality, he won't let me pay for it. So it's not going to matter to me whether he pays for it or not because I'm already prepared to do but I'm going to have a respect for him because he walks it like he talks it. Point blank period.
Another Migos shout out right there. Okay. All sorts of, it reminds me of what Shia LaBeouf said about really what the definition of a man is. And he's like, a man, and he had to learn this the hard way, is someone who is responsible for other people. That could be your wife, that could be your kids, could be your family, that could be your parents as they get older, that could be employees. But a kid is just responsible for himself. A man is responsible for others. And I said, you know, for most men out there who are, especially the guys that want to watch the show, that want to get better with life or with women and get paid later to do it their way, I said, you got to graduate from a fuck boy to a fuck man to just a man. And that's, you know.
That likes to fuck.
There you go.
A man that likes to fuck. Yeah.
Well, you find a woman in your life that, you know, you could do that with. Will, how does it work in your household? Not with the fuckboy stuff, like the leadership stuff, the paying of the bill stuff. But if you'd like to go tell a crazy story, go ahead, buddy.
No crazy stories on that. So we're talking about dating and going out and picking up the tab. The other side of that, being married, I just took my family on a 22-day vacation to Hawaii.
Wow.
And I don't ask my wife to pick up the bill. I mean, that's the intention is that's what we want to do. That's what we go ahead.
I just want to ask you a question on that. Wouldn't that take all the joy away from you anyway?
Dude, what's the money for?
Yeah, exactly.
The money is to like, hey, my son's happy playing on the beach. We were in Kauai, and the rivers of the mountain of Hawaii meet the ocean, paying all the money to see the joy of them playing in the river by the ocean with the mountains. That's sick. That's what it's about.
Yeah, but with great power becomes responsibility. What's the famous quote? So the fact that you're the dude making the money, paying the bill, what do you expect of your wife, and what does she expect of you in terms of each other's roles?
Man, I just had a cup of coffee with the guy. He's getting separated from his wife because his wife does not support him. She's always constantly tearing him down, not saying nice things. Hey, you can't do it. Really negative stuff. I had the opposite. My wife was very supportive, and she allowed me. Somebody said it here. She allowed me the ability to focus on my craft where I could get good at it. Because in the beginning, I was terrible.
Yeah.
But she was able to take care of everything else, and so I could focus on it and get good, which allows me like the fun to be able to spend the money that we were able to get good at, and then use that money.
That's kind of what Princella said about the difference between a partnership versus a relationship. Yeah, I actually fully agree with that. Would you just like take 30 seconds? The difference between a partnership and a relationship, how would you define that for a man and a woman?
Okay, it's actually the same regardless of sex, but a relationship is where you have a void and you have a need that needs to be filled, and you don't have the money or the desire to fulfill them yourself or pay for it yourself. So you look for another person who can be that interim or that piece to fill that void, and you hook up a codependent cord to them, and one party ends up getting drained. So you never really get to enjoy all of the beautiful things in life because you're too busy draining your energy trying to fill somebody's voids. A partnership is when two whole individuals who don't need each other happen to do things together to create something outside of themselves that they both can enjoy. And so what we all should be striving for is to have a partner and not a relationship, because relationships are killing people.
Clarissa, would you say that you and Leo have a relationship or a partnership?
I was going to add, it's funny because she said partnership, but Leo says one of the things I love about Clarissa is that she doesn't need me. She is 1,000% like, I'm gone. She's like, she doesn't skip a beat. She just keeps going. Like, life just, like, she picks right up. I'm an accessory, but we're an accessory to one another. Like, he compliments me, I compliment him. He would do fine without me.
Although he wouldn't be able to get to the kids' school because he didn't know where to go to school. But
I'll keep the kids. But yeah, he says one of the things that I love about her, that I've always loved about her, is she knows exactly what she wants. Like, nothing is going to get in her way. She doesn't need me to do any of the things for her. She's fully capable of doing all those things entirely on her own. That kind of takes a lot of the pressure off to just be able to do those things. But at the same time, I am capable of doing all of them, but it takes a certain loss. Princella mentioned, like, being a stay-at-home mom. She kind of felt lost there. And I also struggled with that for a little bit on kind of feeling like I wasn't contributing. There was no value being added. I said, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, and I felt like I was atrophying. Like, my brain was withering away. I was stuck in diapers and boogers, and it was kind of like a dark phase there.
Not fun.
But the way that I came out of it was kind of by sharing and kind of like building this business and kind of like looking to see what the issues with the business were. Kind of like almost looked for the problems. So a lot of couples, they don't share the issues in business, right? They say, this is not something I share with my wife because I like to shield her. I like to protect her from that. That's not our story at all. For me, it was like, dude, share the problems. Like, let my brain go to work. Like, let me think, let me problem solve, let me strategize, let me get a fresh set of eyes and kind of tell me what's going on in our business. Leverage me. So we've always approached life not as a competition, like he does this, she does that. It's more so a partnership. I'd never thought about it that way, but you've pointed it out. We're a team. It's he and I against everybody else. So it's kind of like we get to say, tag, you're shining, you go, I got you, baby, and then vice versa. We never look at it as who's shining more. It's he and I together.
You said when you were home alone dealing with the boogers and the diapers and you weren't doing anything, it was a low point to you.
It was such a low point. But I had to remind myself that that's what I wanted. So I sat there saying, this is what you wanted.
I'll say one thing and then I'm going to give it to Justin. I think there's two types of really unhappy women. Come at me. I could be wrong. I don't know. You tell me. I would say the 40-plus community that never figured it out. And they're beautiful, they're great, and they're amazing women, but there's something is lacking of their life. Whether they want kids or not is another conversation, but I think you want someone to spend your life with. And if they haven't figured that out yet, they are, what's the word?
Freaking out.
They're freaking out. But there's a second type of freaking out. I think it's the woman who is relegated to just being the housewife. That's it. The guy's got everything. You're the housewife now. Here's the boogers and here's the diapers, best of luck. And I feel like that's okay for a mother for a brief time period, but stats show that is not a fulfilling life. They're gonna want some sense of purpose and meaning to their life beyond being the daycare mommy. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So I think it's incumbent on both those ladies who are literally complete opposite. One is relationship, marriageless, childless, nada. And one is all that and above sub with some diapers and boogers to go along the side, to understand that there's complete opposite ends of the spectrum and there's some nuance and balance, and that's where you'll find some happiness. JWALLER, final word on this one.
I agree with what you're saying. This said, I think as a society, we don't champion moms enough. We should champion moms way more. It is one of the hardest physically, mentally, emotional jobs on the planet. It's one of the most important things that a woman could possibly do with her life. Society should look up to mothers, or at least put mothers in the category of one of the most important jobs in the world.
Yeah.
I super big shout out to moms. Without moms, this place don't fucking go.
Yeah.
Period. Straight
100%.
up. I agree with what you said. I think a woman that's truly in love with her man, much like you do, sees where her man is going and wants to be a part of that mission.
Yep.
And whether you call it a subordinate or a support or a partner or whatever you call it, when you have genuine desire, she wants to get on his program.
Yep.
And I think that's very, very important. It's just like what I was talking about earlier. It's like a woman will let go and trust you and like be feminine and want to be submissive or want to be that for somebody when he has shown that she can trust him with it. I believe the same thing happened probably in your relationship. You saw that man, you're like, this man is a winner. I can bet on this horse. Let me get behind him. And you've rode that for 25 years. And good for you, girl.
Horse Leo.
Good for you, girl.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you did one of the most important jobs in the world, which is be a mother. So,
yeah.
Like, if anybody should be commended on this panel today, I think it's you.
You know what's crazy? We did a podcast. I fully agree with what you're saying. To the moms out there, my mom was here today. You met my mom.
Aww.
Yeah, you missed her, Nat, because you're running late. My mom was here today. I love my mom. I took my mom to Israel. But we had a very spirited conversation today on PBD podcast. Pat, is he here? He walked in the room. He went back that way.
Yeah.
Who was the guest on? Can we pull up the thumbnail?
Yeah.
Do you know the host of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, who's like as big as it gets on progressive left politics? As big as it gets. Young Turk. Millions and millions of subscribers. Anyone here know him? Yeah, okay. Massive, right? Yeah. Right, no, but you know of him.
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, massive, right? And PBD is obviously there. Obviously massive. You know him? You have the thumbnail? Yeah, there it is right there. But he said, my number one mission is, for progressive politics, is 12-week maternity leave for women. It's like, it's crazy in this country that a woman has a baby and she's just expected to go back to work the next day. Like, maybe a job will let her off, but federally, it's not a law, it's not an amendment, it's nothing whatsoever. And he's like 80% people in this country want to see that. So I said, oh shit, like, all right, like, that's 12 weeks, that's what, 3 months? Okay, nothing crazy. All right, I said, do a poll of our audience. Now here's a guy who's super far left. I won't say far left, due respect. Progressive, he's to the left. He's not like leftist, woke. And there's our audience, who I would say is for the most part center to the right. You get some people on the left, I'm sure, but mostly business owners, capitalists, free thinkers, entrepreneurs, studs, you know, they tend to be a little more to the right. That's our audience, okay? We did a poll. Now, if our audience doesn't agree with this, we would know in a second. 75% of our audience agreed with him. What does that mean? We believe in families. We believe mothers should be taken care of. We believe that for the right individuals, mothers, husbands, families, right? Have more babies, take care of the babies. Like, we want more families in this country. So everything you're saying is absolutely right. Everything that you're saying out there is absolutely right. 75% of our audience, which indicates what he said, about 80% of Americans want this. Paid family leave for mothers, right? Anyone here have kids other than Clarissa? That's right, you have kids. I know. I meant the mothers, bro. Are you a birthing person?
No.
Okay. Is your wife a birthing person, or is she a mother?
She's a mother.
She's a mother. Okay, she's not a birthing person. Okay. Anyway, that's just a little PSA. Watch the PBD podcast if you want to see more on that. All right, final topic. Then we can all go to the bathroom, have a drink, have a hug, then we'll do the happy ending. It has to do with marriage, since, you know, we'll see where we go with this. Nat, why are you getting all excited over there right now?
I'm excited for this clip.
Okay. Because it's actually someone talking about marriage. You don't hear this gentleman talk too much about marriage. You hear him talk about masculinity. So you hear him talk about role of a man. You talk about the Matrix. You hear him talk about all sorts of things that gets millions of views, billions of eyeballs, everything like that. And of course, I'm talking about the great Andrew Tate. But he recently did an interview with Candace Owens, and she was asking him about marriage. And here's what he had to say.
Do you want to be married?
Good question.
I heard that's the lover boy tactic. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but...
And that's an interesting question, because younger me would say no. Absolutely not. And the reason younger me would say no is because I'd come up with all the arguments that there's no legal advantage really, and the woman can wreck you, and you can lose all of your things, etc. But as I get older, maybe I'm getting a bit softer. Maybe I do think sometimes you need to make a decision based purely on love and have the faith of love and faith in your love enough to say, I don't care what the government's going to do about this because I truly believe in us and I think we're going to make it. So would I get married? Perhaps some point, yes, in the future I might get married. Yeah, I'm not against marriage like I used to be. I used to be super against it, and I think that's because I grew up in an environment where everybody was divorced. But now I think if I met the right woman, perhaps, yes.
All right, very interesting conversation. Nat's freaking out over there, bro. We can get a camera on Nat.
Yes,
I don't know. What are you freaking out about? Just because the Andrew Tate talked about love and marriage, or?
Yeah, I think, you know, especially with this whole red pill space growing the way it has, I think that was really capitalized. Like, marriage is no beneficial to men. There's no benefit of getting married. Don't do it. Don't allow the government, so on and so forth. And I understand that argument. I understand that perspective. But there's a lot of value that comes within marriage. Yes, you're going to have a lot of risks, but anything that is required where you're bringing people on board and you're expanding your team, aka your kids, it's going to be a risk anyway. So to see someone who was so on the other side of marriage and even came with arguments why, and it even had somewhat truth to it, to him changing his perspective to, hey, you know, I see value in that. I know you even brought up conversations that, you know, you may find happiness right now while you're in the club having fun and you're young and so on and so forth. But once you start having kids, there's something about kids. They bring a sense of joy. They bring a sense of innocence. And it's a different sense of happiness. And I think it's just a matter of when you come to that point in your life where you're like, hey, I'm tired of the clubs. I'm tired of this. I'm looking for a different level of happiness. So I love to see someone like Tate, express that and change his perspective based on some of the experiences he's been through.
Nat, are you saying that you're sick and tired of going to the clubs and you're looking for love and marriage and kids?
I definitely want to get married and have kids.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
All right, gentlemen, you can find her on Valuetainment. She's doing that. Well, here's what I'll say, and then I'm going to go down the line here in order and say what you want to add to about what it's like wanting to be married, wanting to have kids. You know, if you're not there yet, what you want. If you are there, give us the good, the bad, the ugly, to let the people know, and then we'll wrap up. So here's what I do know. I was briefly married when I was much younger and dumber, and I met her in a club, and that's how the life works. Shout out to Liv, by the way. But there's no doubt, what the Elon Musk says about work-life balance is that Bill Maher asked him, can you be happy just being obsessed with work? He goes, I think you can be 50% happy, but the other 50% comes with having love in your life and having a meaningful relationship. Now, I'm not fully convinced that I'm going to get married via the government this time and be married to a woman via the government, but I will definitely be with a woman, have a bunch of babies, take care, she'll be the mother, I'll be the father. None of us are going to be birthing people. She'll just be a mom. But I look forward to playing that role, and I think I'm going to be a great dad, and I would love to have an amazing woman by my side, absent of any government involvement. So I look forward to that. It's amazing to see what Tate had said about that. So let's go. Lovely ladies. Little misfit over here. Mel's in the house. What are you looking forward to when it comes to marriage, partnership, kids? Give us your answer.
So I'm on two sides of the fence. I definitely believe in partnership because I believe that two people should come together and bring a value. Now, it's not just financially. It's more of like the love, the unconditional love, the support, the understanding, right? So I do believe in marriage. I do believe in kids. I do have an old-fashioned mindset. And I don't know if some of the past experiences I've been through, maybe that's what's put me in the entrepreneur space to kind of be that alpha female, but I'm also submissive with the right male, right? And I think that it becomes a balance. And I do believe, let's say, someone comes into the relationship trying to provide and be that husband and something happens to them financially, I should be able to be in a place where I can take his back. And I don't know if a lot of people agree with that, but I do believe that I should have my husband's back in the relationship. But I do believe in the old-fashioned style, marriage, children, building a family, and sharing that, because what is the purpose of all this wealth if you can't share and build and have a better life for your family? So
what age do you see yourself doing that by?
Whenever it's supposed to happen. I don't know. But I don't know.
Did you give yourself like a
I did not do
timeline?
that.
Okay.
I've been through serious relationships in the past where there was close to marriage and it didn't happen. I also intimidate a lot of men because I've always been very strong, very independent. So maybe that's something I do have to work on, but I'm not going to change who I am. I think someone should meet me there.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I'm very intimidated right now. It's tough.
No,
Yeah,
don't be. I probably So no, I just feel that if it comes, when it comes, it will come at the right time, and that person will elevate me to be a better version of myself, and we'll come together. But if it doesn't happen, maybe it's not in the cards for me. But I'm not pressing for it.
Got it. How about you, Amber? You're recently engaged.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When you were a young girl, did you dream of a white wedding and a big event and all that and a big rock on your hand?
So
it's happening.
Yes, it's happening, but I think women stress so much and try to put time limits on everything. So I would have thought I would have been married and had kids by the time I was 30. So when I hit 30, I was freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, when is it going to happen?
Yeah.
I want to, be married. I've worked on myself. When is this going to happen? I think whatever you believe in, but timing is key. And I think that it's really a partnership. Actually, I just posted something about partnership. And you really do both need to be 100% or it's not going to work. Because there was a time when my fiance and I were not 100% and it didn't work. And then we both dated different people. And then once we were 100, we came back together.
Oh, really?
So I think
it's like the remix version, the better remix version.
Yeah.
Respect.
So yeah, I'm excited for my future and children.
Have you set a date yet?
No, I think people. I was very
All right,
overwhelmed.
relax. I'm not trying to make a move. I just
no. People ask it when it happened. So when's the date? I'm like, you're supposed to know that already. It was very stressful in the beginning.
I don't know how this works. I went to the courthouse. Wham bam. Thank you. I'm married. All right, cool. Here's a question that I would say: how many women are on there? There's 8 billion people on the planet. So that's about 4 billion women. Here's a question 4 billion women want to know, Justin Waller. Where do you see yourself getting married, settling down, not being a gunslinger cowboy? What's your deal?
So, first of all, I'm not surprised to hear Andrew say that at all. I think our group is very misunderstood. I believe in love completely. Now, I do believe love is a bit more dark than people that watch Disney movies believe. So Completely down with love, completely down with family, taking care of a woman, having a partnership or whatever. I get my relationship partnership stuff mixed up. I don't want to misspeak, but I believe in love completely. I think it's a real thing. I think that anybody that says that you can't fall in love with a woman is completely transactional is probably misled. And I think that family is a wonderful thing, and I think that being a father is a wonderful thing. So in no way, shape, or form do I feel like love is not in the cards for me, or not already in the cards for me, or could be in the cards for me, or what have you. I think that's just a big misunderstanding that people have about our group and our friends. That's it.
Let me ask you. So we had Myron from Fresh and Fit multiple times. That's a good buddy of yours. He's been on a show a million times.
Yeah,
we all love Myron. We respect Myron. You know. He said that he's never been in love, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of shocking. He's like, never been in love? What does that mean? He's like, well, you know, just... So I don't even know, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said something like he doesn't want to be in love with a woman. He can have love for a woman, but not in love with the woman. You know, maybe it's like a different nuance of words. Do you remember him saying this or anything like this?
Yeah, I didn't see him say it, but I hate to hear it. Because I do think love is real completely. I do think it's possible for you to be in a relationship with a woman, even if you're going to be mentally stronger than her, that she could hurt you. Yeah, I think that's a real thing completely. And I think when you get there and you can get close to somebody and you're best friends, you happen to have really good sex, and you happen to get along on certain subjects, you happen to fit correctly in the gender roles, which I still believe are true and there, then there's nothing wrong with it at all. Would I bring the state into it? No, I wouldn't. Would I protect myself? Absolutely. I took too long building this thing. There's no fucking way.
No doubt.
Love itself, children, the thing that makes the world go around, absolutely, 100%.
So here's what I would say to that. There's a difference between protecting your heart and protecting your assets. So like, I would argue the best feeling in the world is that giddy butterfly, oh my God, did she text me? Like all that, guys and girls, we both have it, that love feeling in your stomach of just like complete freedom, abandonment, I don't know what's going on, go for it, guys. But that doesn't mean that you should just open up your bank account, not get a prenup, spend all your money. So like emotionally, let it rip. Financially, you know, save that money. That's what message. Sounds like 2024. Young lady, you're 18. Do not get married anytime soon unless you're going to follow the Martinez model. What's your vision of life, marriage, kids, all that fun stuff?
Well, to start off, I actually do agree with the perspective of Andrew Tate. I think that social media is changing the way that he says things, and of course, like he said, there's a communication boundary with the way that social media is depicting everything. Like they always try to make him look like the bad guy, or it's the way that social media shows things, it always goes by audience. So there's always a clip that they show to specifically men and a clip that they show specifically to women. So that's what causes the problem with social media. I do believe that marriage is a partnership, like she said. I think that we all bring something to the table. So if we have, you know, a king and a queen combined, you have that powerhouse. So I think that being able to bring the femininity and being able to bring the masculinity as a whole, that's something that one man and a woman and a man combined, you're going to know that the king and queen are always going to have each other's back, and they're going to have the support to be able to be like, hey, I have your back. So that power that they have as a relationship is the most powerful thing that you can have. So
I
when
can't
it
believe
comes
you're
to
18.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. What's
so
that?
the most,
You got Mel over here
I
like,
was
what am
raised
I doing
well,
with
I
my
guess you
life?
could say. But the most powerful thing that it is marriage is that I don't believe that you can quickly fall in love instantly. I think it's a growth process. You know, you learn to grow. I think when it comes to partnership, at first you may probably be like, okay, we have our own ideas. Let's start with communication first. And then over time you learn to love and appreciate, you know, the things that maybe you didn't like at first. You know, maybe you just didn't like the way he laughed, but you know, you learn to grow and you accept the things, and that's what makes it more powerful. Mm-hmm.
If a girl's a snorer, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm out. I left the girl's place in the middle of the night. You snore to me. Like, where'd you go? It's not gonna work. Snuffleupagus. Let me go to Yusta, and then I'm gonna go to the 4 who are married or have been married last. Okay. So go ahead. What would you like to add to this?
I also agree with Andrew Tate's perspective, and honestly, I'm a little shook that that's his take because, at least for the content that I've seen, like it portrays a very different side of what
It's
he
almost like a
normally says.
Brett Cooper situation with Justin Waller. You thought
Yeah,
one thing, and by
exactly.
the end, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, marriage is a beautiful thing, and I think that raising a family and being a parent is one of the most important jobs to have because you're raising the next generation, which is super important. I definitely am not in a rush to get married. I don't think there's a time limit for me personally. And like she said before, is like, if that's not in my cards, if that doesn't happen for me, I don't think I would be pressed about it or upset.
But you're also 25.
Correct. I mean,
But we all know that when you're 35, 40, from what I hear, women tend to
freak out.
Okay. Well, just put that in the back of your mind.
I'm
you don't
aware.
want to be one of those women who are lovely and beautiful. Next thing you know, you're 35 and you're looking in the mirror and you're reevaluating your life and you're
freaking out.
all right. So we just don't want that for you.
I mean, I'm completely fulfilled by myself. Of course, having a partner
Amber,
would be the best thing
respect to
ever,
you.
but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't
Partner right
happen.
there.
And then
Partnership.
for kids, I don't necessarily know. I've never had the desire to have kids, but I think that's also because like I grew up with a mom that struggled a lot, and like seeing how she, had a lot of trouble raising kids, it kind of, put a bad taste in my mouth. So I think I would need a couple of requirements met before I would even consider having kids.
There you go. Okay. So here's what I want to do. The four who are currently married or have been married, with due respect, here's how I want to position this. Because I actually ask all my married friends this. This is like my question. I'm like, what's up? You married? All right, cool. You ready? Give me the good, the bad, and the ugly of marriage. Okay? Ladies first.
Oh, gosh.
Clarissa,
The
you
good.
got kids watching, you got your husband watching, but we also want to be honest.
The good.
So give me the good, the bad, the ugly.
The good. You have a best friend for life. Like, this is my person. Leo's my go-to person. My good, my bad. Like, I've had a great day, I share it with him. I've had a shit day, I share it with him. There's nothing I can't say that I'll feel judged. So he's seen me kind of at my best and has cheered for me. And he's also seen me at my absolute worst and cheered for me. So to have somebody that will do that for you is so freeing. So if I had to pick one thing that's the best, that would probably be it. The worst.
The bad. I mean,
Bad.
You said the worst. By the way, you see these girls that's like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. I'm like, this is your worst? Yeah, I don't even want to see your best. This is rough out here. Anyway, just the bad part.
I'm going to sound really corny, but I can't think of I'm sure they're bad things.
No, you can't think of one bad thing?
Well, I mean, you're two different people. And so,
Okay.
like, there's a lot of bad that goes from being an individual person to finding a shared vision.
How about his salsa dancing? It needs work?
No, he's great.
He's a great salsa dancer, I
Yeah.
know. All right, give me the ugly part of marriage that nobody wants to talk about.
Can you come back to me? I
Wow,
need
you just
a
have
little
this
more
like
time.
perfect life. Okay, we'll come back
I don't
to you.
have a perfect life.
Jose, you're married, no kids. How long have you been married?
2 years now, but we've been
Okay, you've been
together
married forever.
Yeah.
Okay. So give us the good, the bad, the ugly of being together since high school.
Well, I'd say, my friends kind of joke and say, like, I don't come off as a very romantic guy. They're like, dude, do you even like her type of thing? But it's not because of that. I've just always been an extremely focused and driven individual. And kind of like Clarissa said early on, it was just kind of understood kind of how we were as people. Obviously, we're really young, but she saw that in me, and I think that's always been understood. And definitely, I'd say the good, obviously, is just the unbelievable amount of belief and support she's provided me throughout, because we've seen a lot of our lives, as kids up until this point as adults now. So like Will was saying, she was there to support you, and sometimes it's obviously you got to believe in yourself, but just to have someone there that they're going to ride this thing out with you and get you through some of those tough times, for me, has been very helpful. As far as bad, we all go through challenges in our lives, businesses, careers. For her, she was going through school, and it took her a little bit longer than we were both hoping for, and there were some setbacks there, and that was a test for us. And I'm incredibly proud of her. She was able to get it done, and she's a nurse, and she loves what she does, and she just gets fulfillment out of it, and she's the perfect type of person for that. So I will say, though, there are those challenges where it tests you. And as far as the ugly goes, I mean, definitely you see each other at your worst. You absolutely see each other at your worst.
Yeah.
And you have to have those valleys to know the peaks, obviously. The one thing I do appreciate about her is when she sees me at my worst, which isn't often, but it happens because I'm a human being. She always asks me the question, do you want support or do you want solutions? And it's usually support, honestly. But I really appreciate that.
You got a gnat approval over
that.
there.
I appreciate
that's
that.
good. Sometimes you need to know what you're
buddy?
asking. Nice.
You got a good one, Jose.
Thanks,
you got
man.
a good one, man. The good is having two people focused on one goal, one mission. That doesn't just have to be financial. It could be family. The great conversations that we can have, questioning, what comes after this life, the deeper stuff that she and I like to talk about, like connecting on that kind of level. I would say the bad is the mirror that it showed me of who I am, like all the shit that I got to fix.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but in the moment, you don't like seeing, like, okay, man, we got some stuff we got to work on.
Don't you fix those boots, buddy. You stay those boots. I don't care if she wants you to fix those things.
Yeah, the boots are staying on, baby.
All right, that's my guy.
And so, like, seeing the mirror.
Even in the bedroom.
You want to know?
Adam.
You want the truth?
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you here. Just, OnlyFans.com. You can. I'm just kidding. And I would say the ugly is learning how to fight. She is stubborn as a mule, and I am hard-headed, and that's a dangerous combination. It's a great combination in business because nothing stops us. But we had to learn how to fight and then reconcile in a healthy way.
It's like when an unstoppable force and an immovable object come together. That's you guys with your boots on in the bedroom. Somebody rockin' knockin' the boots. Love
You H-Town. Shout out to H-Town.
Oh, respect. A lot of music references going on today. Okay, Clarissa, I'll come back to you, and then I'll go to Princella. There's nothing ugly about marriage of 20-something years?
Well, there's a lot of stuff that you overcome, so I'm sorry if it's not fresh in my mind.
You know what? I'm going to help you out. The diapers and the boogers. That's the ugly situation.
That was the ugly,
no, I get
honestly.
it.
But that was 16 years ago.
Okay.
So that was the ugly.
Yeah.
There
Well,
is.
you know what? You know what you have to look forward to next then? When Leo is old and he's in diapers.
I got that.
You got it?
I was a nurse's aide. Took care of old people
We
when I
love
was
you,
a
Leo. Shout
teenager,
out to
so
you.
I could do
I
that.
often save the best for last. You were married. Your story's so wild. You were married forever to a guy. You can share your story now. You're on the other team. You're helping men improve. You're making you're the queen maker. You're helping princesses become queens. You're playing on the other side of the ball game these days. Respect. I know what it's like dealing with these chicks out there, bro. It ain't easy. You only been doing it for a couple years now.
No, just a couple of months.
Couple months?
Yeah.
I've been doing this 40 years now, baby. It ain't easy.
I recently
Okay.
made the decision to hop the fence.
Okay.
But the good about marriage is if you care what other people think, social credit for women, because people harp on women so much. When you get married, you're gonna die old and lonely and all of this stuff. When you don't validate yourself, what other people think about your life matters. So the good about marriage is it relieves you from being criticized from people. Well, I don't really care what people think. So the bad about marriage is it is not what it is marketed to be at all. And when people hop into this blind, they get knocked upside their head really quick about the truth of human nature and dealing with another person. And people hop into those relationships in void, in scarcity, in need fulfillment, and they get drained. And that's why 54% of divorced women never want to marry again, and 70% of divorces are filed by women, and that number jumps up to 90% when women are college educated. So we're not even looking at the numbers and the facts
Those
of what's
stats are true,
actually
by the
what's
way, yeah.
happening, right? So they get in and find out what it's really about, and that's where those numbers come from. The ugly is a loss of freedom. I'm all about freedom, and marriage takes all of it away. And if you want to be, I look at marriage as slavery. I don't believe in living. Yeah, I don't believe in living for other people. I believe in happiness, and you can start a business with a partner. You don't have to get married and tie your life to them. So with you, I agree with you. If you were to live with a companion or have a life partner, I'm in total agreement not to get the government involved, because once you outgrow somebody, you should be able to break free and go your separate ways. Why do you have to go through hoops and hurdles to break away from somebody? Because that's slavery. Shackle and chains, that's slavery. So marriage, I'm totally against it. But if people are buying into the delusion of this fairy tale, they'll keep supporting it. But the reality is those numbers are legitimate. The loss of freedom and social credit is the only thing that goes with that.
You good? I feel like you love listening to her. Very soothing.
Very relaxed. But what she's saying is factual too. Like, I want to go back to what I said about marriage. You know, I think that it's your preference, whether if it's government involved or not, but I am more on the fence of not government, a piece of paper telling you that you're a partnership. I do believe in a union of two people coming together, creating a family, having children, you know, actually building the next generation to be better individuals for this world where we're headed. So I do believe in that. So I just wanted to add to that.
Respect to you. So I'll tell you one. I think I've asked this story, these questions. I love hearing the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think that's very important. Oh, marriage is amazing. I love it. Marriage sucks. It's the fucking worst. Like, I love my kids. I hate my kids. It's like, no, there's the good, the bad, the ugly of everything. But I'll tell you, the best answer I ever heard was from a buddy of mine. And he's like, I'm going to give me the good. He's like, the good? My wife's always there. I love her. She's always there. The bad? My wife is always there. Like, everywhere I look, just get out of here already. Like, she's always there. I'm like, okay, well, that was it. And then the ugly was, we can't talk about that. It had to do with boots and all that fun stuff, but all good. Anyway, this has been awesome, guys. What an amazing, eclectic panel. Yeah. So what we do here at the end of the show is what is called the happy ending, where you guys get to take a minute, look in the camera, tell people where to find you, or take your biggest takeaway from the show. Before we do that, Nat, any final words? You got some chats you want to read? What's going on?
Yes, I'll go through super chats and then I'll give my final word. First, thank you guys for super chats. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, do all that fun stuff. Appreciate you guys. First, we'll start off with the first one, which was Bebe Luke. Colonism was, I have you in here. Yo, Adam, this is legitimately my favorite show on the internet now. Not whatever, not Fresh and Fit, not even PBD, because politics makes me nauseous. But thank you for the support.
Well, thank you guys, and I have so much respect for, obviously, PBD, the show that I'm on, for Fresh and Fit, whatever's doing their thing. I'm glad you like us. Thank you, bro.
We appreciate
What's the name again?
Bebe El Duke.
Bebe. All right, Bebe's kids. Respect.
Yeah. And then we have a Camp Shump. Somebody play Cheyenne by George Strait. My man's is in the house. Then we have Wida, a womanese translation. I could get the man I wanted, so now I have to deal with the woman. Then we have a chat from Boxing. Is there any high value virgins on the panel? Then we have a Devon single mom. Adam, is it smart to put $100K deposit down on a car if I don't have a home yet? Also, the
$100K deposit down on a car?
On a car.
Nah, yes. Bring the mic closer to your mouth.
Adam, is it smart?
Let's let the financial guys. Depends on what car, depends on how much you mount, but...
We buy assets that cash flow, and then the cash flow buys the car.
Okay. There it is.
There you go.
Then follow the Will Moneyman Myers, he'll set you straight.
Also, the dealer only requires $5K down, but I wanted to pay a year early.
Nat, you're lovely, and I want people to see your face, but you're talking into the mic like this, so you know what you're doing.
I know. I love that you give instructions all the time. I love it.
Well,
then we have...
I wouldn't have to give instructions all the time.
He likes to give instructions.
If she just followed the first instruction. You know how it is, guys. We're not even fucking married. Talking about good, bad, ugly. Yeah.
I know. Okay, then we have this very difficult name, Nabayoti, and then there's the rest of it. You can create endless excuses unless both men and women think about complete submission to marriage. Don't listen to radioactive talks. Then we got Uncle Luke in the chat. The women in the problem in The problem is women today want to have their cake and eat it too. You can't have it all. You can't try to be a man and expect to be treated like a lady at the same time. Opposites attract. Then we have a Flowy Builds. Nat, have you ever thought of dating Sauce? No, Sauce is just for work. Then we have JJ Evans.
Nat? Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Everyone keeps saying this statement.
You just broke my heart, man.
I'm sorry. You're for work, dude.
My friends owned your ass a long time ago. Let's keep it that way.
Yes. Yes.
Nat and I are like brother sister. It's like my little sister.
We argue
we go on double dates together.
Yes, we do.
We do. It's great.
Then we have JJ Evans. We actually got a hate in the chat.
Right now I'm taking a picture of her not listening. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, then we have JJ Evans. We got a hater in the chat. He said, Princella, let's be honest, Charleston annihilated you. You want to know why? Because you claim you understand psychology, but you exaggerate to create divide. And your new name's Princella. Then we have Crypto Keeper. See you all the time. Shout out to you. Hey, Adam, would you be able to ask the guests, what are your thoughts on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis getting rid of the permanent alimony? Then we have the last two chats. Uncle Luke again. I do believe that the red pill space, we don't advocate marriage enough. However, unless the law change, I don't advocate marriage in the U.S. And then shout out to Life of Joss. This is your first super chat. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining the team. You guys are trying to change people's lives, and we need more people like you guys. We need more heroes. Thank you. We appreciate that. I hope you subscribe, like, do all that fun stuff. And the last thing I'll say is my takeaway. Well, first, thank you all for coming, onto the panel today. I appreciate all the perspectives you guys gave. This was a special episode because, as we're growing as SOSCAST, we're going to have some exciting big guests on, and you guys are kind of the beginning stages of that. So I'm super grateful for you guys taking the time to come out here. And then I will say one of my favorite takeaways is that you said your wife asked you, what is it that you want from her? Is it support or is it a solution? I think that is very important. Sometimes women, we want to fix and we want to help, but sometimes you need to ask, what do you need from me? Mm-hmm. Because there's going to be an area that you're able to provide that. So that's my takeaway. And thank
men,
you.
Don't try to offer solutions to your woman. Just
listen.
Give her a hug and just nod your head. Be there for her. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Happy ending. Let's let the ladies go first, and then we'll let the gentlemen wrap up. Happy ending. Everyone has cameras. Boom, boom, boom. You see the cameras that
There's
are facing
like 20.
you?
Where do I go? There's like,
well, there.
That one, yes.
Okay, tell the people where to find you, what you do, and your biggest takeaway.
Yes, everything is Mel G Fit. MELGFIT. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms. And, my takeaway from this show, I loved everybody's perspective, and this is what it's about. You learn and you grow from everyone's different perspectives on their views and their values, because you get to respect one another by understanding and listening and then applying. Mm-hmm. And I think being on here, I'm super grateful. Thank you for inviting me. Yay. I love you, girl.
I love you, girl.
And I'm super grateful again for everyone's perspective and insight. And what else did you want me to say?
I don't know, but what's the girl version of a bromance?
Girl-mance?
I don't know. Homance? I don't know.
Yes.
Is that...
No, we don't do hoes.
Okay.
No, I'm definitely grateful just to be sitting here next to amazing individuals that are very successful. And it makes you look back on your own life like, wow, we've definitely accomplished a lot to be sitting here. So super grateful again. And again, everything is Mel G Fit. And that's it, yeah.
Nice. Come back anytime.
Yes, I would love to.
Okay. We have a woman who's engaged. Great story.
Yes.
You were dating, then, went different paths. Now you're back on track. Keep up the good work. Amber,
Thank
let
you.
people know where to find you and your biggest takeaway.
So you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Amber Quinn Official, and then Twitter is Crypto with Amber. My biggest takeaway was just hearing the perspective of, I really liked hearing from the single people and the people that were married, because I think a lot of people don't talk about the bad. And, I think we've painted this picture of everything as a fairy tale. And I think there's things that happen that are ugly, and you have to also have that perspective as well. So I think that's my biggest takeaway. Don't only paint the fairy tale picture, because you're going to be disappointed.
You ready for the boogers in the diapers?
I'm ready for the boogers in the diapers.
Wow,
and
look at that. We're changing lives over here. Clarissa, great job.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think, thanks guys with the applause. you know, people talk a lot of shit about Gen Z these days. They're all these fucking young kids or so and stuff. We have a prime example, like, what a girl this girl is. Mel the whole time is like, wow.
I appreciate it.
Wow, respect to you.
You're definitely an old soul.
Yeah. Or just maybe a smart young girl.
Smart. Wow.
Who has good family values or good people in her ear. Respect to you. Karen, let the people know where to find you and your biggest takeaway.
You can find me on all the social media. It's Karen N. Estevez. And my biggest takeaway is no matter what age, it's very important that we have these moments in podcasts where you can share your perspective. You know, you had some wives, you had some single people, you have younger people like me, and it's very important. My main goal in this purpose in this world, especially as a Gen Z and social media, is that to share these fresh perspectives. I think that my generation actually needs the most help. It's sad to say, but there's so much going on with social media, and while it is very powerful, it can be very negative as well. There's some perspectives that can, you know, confuse a lot of children. So I think my main purpose here is to not only just give a different perspective, but to also raise awareness that it's important to have some goals, have some values, and be a good person as a whole.
Respect to you, Karen.
Thank you.
All right, let's cut off the applause. And I hope you feel very safe. You're surrounded by two very big, strong, successful men on your left and your right. So you look like a tiny person compared to them. And you're not. I don't think you're that tiny in real life. But speaking of tiny people, Clarissa, thank you for being here again.
Thank you.
We love your
coming.
perspective.
Yes.
I think you bring a unique perspective with what you do. Go ahead and drive ticket sales to the vault. Go ahead.
That's right. You guys can find my husband, Leo Martinez, on Instagram. Clarissa Martinez, also on Instagram. The Vault is a phenomenal event that everyone should attend, and I'm not just saying that. It is really life-changing. It's coming up August.
Who's going to be there, Clarissa?
Oh, Tom Brady.
Who
Oh, my
else?
God.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, Will Guidara.
Yeah. Who hosts it?
PBD.
PBD. It sounds
Oh
like
my
an
God.
amazing event.
Everybody needs
Where
to
can you
be there.
find this event? Online somewhere?
Online. Or
That's
you can call
crazy. Is there a
Leo.
website that there might be for this?
I'm sure there is.
TheVaultConference.com. That's just how that works.
You guys should have queued me up. I wasn't ready for this. Come on, guys.
You know, your support
Do better.
staff. Okay. But yeah, PBD, Vault, VaultConference.com. Amazing. Tom Brady, Mike Tyson, Will, who's wrote the book Unreasonable Hospitality. #1 restaurant in New York, multiple years running. He'll be there. Shout out to you. See, you just got to be ready for that plug. Just got to be ready for it.
That's it. Next time. That means
All
I'm
right.
coming
You know
back.
who's ready for it? You know who's ready for it? Princella, what's up? You ready? Boom, spit on the mic.
Of course I'm ready.
Yeah, she's ready. Born ready.
I'm Princella, the Queen Maker, and I'm easy to find. If you just type in the Queen Maker on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, you will find me, Princella, the Queen Maker. And you can get my book, 41 Shades of Men, The Pursuit to Subdue and Use You, from my website, PrincellaTheQueenMaker.com or Amazon.
Link below. Guste?
You can find me on all social medias. It's Guste Janus, GUSTEJANUS. I would say, takeaway-wise, more of like an opinion, but this was generally one of the best podcasts I've been on. Like, everyone here is so educated, successful, and like, honestly, I absorbed so much knowledge from everyone today. So I'm really grateful to be here. And I think also like hearing the men's perspectives on dating and their marriages was really refreshing, because I feel like a lot of the time on social media, the spotlight's on all the negative stuff. And like, this was like a really good thing to hear today.
Well, thank you.
Yay.
Well, I think that women and men are better together than
Agreed.
apart. And we're working on that. Will, happily married. We know where to find you, but go ahead.
So my name is Will Myers, and I always appreciate podcasts like this, man. You run a great show, and what I love about this more than anything is that I'd always rather have a question that I can't answer than an answer I'm not allowed to question. And here, we ask all the questions. So it's really a fun and a great experience. You can find me at knockingtheboots.com. No, I'm just kidding. I've got a live show on TikTok and YouTube.
I'm like Googling, oh yeah.
Yeah, don't go there. I don't know what that website is. Do not do that. But be very careful. But I run a live show where I teach people how to buy assets that produce income. No matter where you're at on your financial journey, you can find me on TikTok, Moneyman Myers, YouTube. I'm on all platforms.
Respect, dude. You know, I'm definitely gonna be Googling that, knocking the boots up. Just you, cowboy hat, boots,
Dude, let's go, baby.
G-string, with some dollar bills hanging out of it. Assets, not liabilities. Respect. Jose, pleasure to meet you in person, bro.
Likewise.
Go ahead, let the people know where to find you.
Yeah, before anything, Adam, I just want to say thank you for having me. I have a ton of respect for the Valuetainment brand and the work that you and PVD do. So just to be here is a true honor and a blessing.
Thank you,
so
bro.
thank you. And to be among just high quality individuals with different perspectives, obviously, it's a real blessing. So thank you to all of you as well. As far as where to find me, I'm primarily on Instagram. So it's my name, the Jose Rafael Hernandez, all one. I'm on.
You took this long to bust out the accent?
I mean, we can do a show in Spanish too.
You rolled that R on Rafael like you've been doing this before.
And then I'm currently in TikTok jail, but hopefully I get out soon.
For what?
I don't know. They say I violated the community guidelines. I guess.
All you do is talk about money stuff.
I don't know.
Give me too much good
What do you
insight.
think it was?
It could be anything. They said I violated the community guidelines, but I feel like I've been respectful on there, but you know.
I feel like you're a very respectful dude.
We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But on there, it's Jose_financial_you. So primarily on Instagram and TikTok. And then main takeaway I think is funny is you learn the things that are about success early on in your journey, but it's so funny how you just keep hearing and seeing them over and over and over and over again in different people. And a lot of the things that we talked about in our conversation today, provide value, be a good person, work on yourself. Those are things that don't go away. And obviously all of us are at different stages of our journey. Some are more successful than others, that's fine. But I think we can all agree here that we've seen these things over and over and over again. And especially those of us that I call first generation wealth builders, first people in our family, to be changing that paradigm of how we approach our finances and the decisions that we make. It's important for us to hear that because sometimes these things weren't told to us in our homes. And just believe it for me that the stuff is real. It's not just cliche. So thanks again.
Respect, dude. All right. Last but not least, what does Tristan Tate call you? The best looking ginger. What does he call you? What does he say?
The best looking ginger man on the planet.
I mean, respect.
I don't know about the hype, but y'all know where to find me, man. Y'all know what I do. What I would say about the show is that I really love to be in an environment where people might not see eye to eye, might not have the same views on things, but can come together and respectfully love each other anyway. And I think that's probably one thing that I've not had an opportunity to say as much on all the shows that I've done. So for anybody out there that's around other people that don't necessarily see the world the way they do, that don't necessarily believe the same things they believe, it doesn't mean it has to be an opportunity to hate, man, because you can always love somebody where they are. And I advise that you young men and women all do that because it feels much better, it's much lighter on the heart, and it'll get you a lot further in life.
Thank you, brother. Well, you know how much respect I have for you, and it's great to see you. We still need to get together off camera,
I know, man.
for
I
sure.
know.
But you're hard to catch, bro.
Yep.
So, but I want to thank you for what you said. I actually said this to Vinny as we were having lunch with Cenk Uygur, who's as big as it gets in left-leaning politics. I said, Vinny, I don't know if Vinny's around, and this has nothing to do with this show. This is a Valuetainment, the brand. I go, do you realize in the last 2 months, the people we've had dinner with or lunch with, just the people. I go, 2 months ago, we were in Romania dining with the Tates, okay? We come back, we're with Alex Jones, as far right-wing, okay? The week after that, Chris Cuomo, left-wing politics, okay? Brother was governor of New York. Today was Cenk, far left. And I go, we had an awesome time with everybody. Got along. It was like homies and bros. It has nothing to do with left, right, whatever. It's just like we have so much more in common than differences. But the media and the mainstream media and the politicians, they want to focus on what separates us. So I think it's incumbent of what we're doing here as like one of the bigger independent distribution channels out there that doesn't, owned by the mainstream or isn't, part of the corporate agenda, is to show that we can have totally different opinions and totally different goals and dreams or whatever, but we can always be respectful and just genuinely love America and be part of the American dream and not be silenced and say what you want to say. So, I mean, today it was insane because I was like, dude, see who we've been hanging out with in the last 60 days. It's been insane. And what's crazier is tomorrow, I can't say where we're going, it'll probably be the biggest name that I've named on this list where we're going tomorrow. So it's like the show continues, and it's insane, and it's great. And then this Friday, we have Mayor Francis Suarez and Graham Stephan, I believe, coming to the podcast. And then Friday night, we have Vivek Ramaswamy, Republican presidential candidate, coming here. So the show goes on, valuetainment's going on. This is the place where amazing conversations and amazing, beautiful, successful people are at. If you haven't subscribed, do yourself a favor, do that now. We're just getting started because we're about to take over the world. Future looks bright. We out. Thank you.
It's the SOSCAST, baby.